He didn't have. Yeah, they gave him all up.
179, 17 to 33, 179 for Josh Allen. Oh, that's in Vegas, ain't it?
The Raiders and the Dolphins. John Bull in here. Oh, John feeling good. He got to see his new quarterback.
Baby. Oh, wait a minute, John. That wasn't a good win because the Bengals almost came back and won, so that was not a good win.
Oh, look, here we go.
That was not a good win. We might even have to take that off the record, man.
No,
the Bengals almost came back and won, so I don't know if that's a good win or not.
Ignore this man. Ignore this man.
Everybody in the chat so far, if your team won, raise your hand in the chat. Because you guys
know David's did.
Yeah, man.
John's did.
Warren's did. Sorry, Ramsey.
I know Josue ain't in here yet. He got to be feeling good today.
Max MC, I know he was the Niner gang. He won. Christopher was up early. Baby? That boy Chris, shout out to Chris, man. He was up earlier than I was even logged on, man. Yesterday morning. Peace up to my man.
Good stuff.
What? Wow! I just used the same logic. I said the Bengals almost came back, so it can't be a real win. That's what y'all told me.
Hey, Richard B, where you been, baby?
Richard B,
Rob
W, what's up, man? Brian Cruz with the hands up.
Got his hand up.
Yeah, man. I love it, man. First of all,
here we go.
I'm gonna talk about on this show. I love it. Let's go.
Here we go. Like, man.
Oh, man.
Here we go. Now, if I'm not mistaken, Ramsey's team won because the opponent missed a walk-off field goal.
Ramsey got like 9 teams, but the one that I hold him to is Falcons. Number one.
Oh, that's
pick.
Right.
Number one pick on the way.
Yeah, Falcons fan? That's right. That's right. Yep, MB3 here. I think Buddy's here too.
Man, they be listening to D-Lo and KC.
Bruh. A whole lot of people listen to D-Lo and KC. Like, give us a goddamn producer credit. Jeez. Like, man.
It's really just vibing out. Oh.
Let's go, baby. It's a 49ers Monday.
Hey.
Brought to you by City Center Financial. Refinance today below 1.99%. APR at 1.866. Go City 6. Woo! Go ahead.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Let's go one more time. Niners win.
Victory air horns as the 49ers 2-0 on the season right now, and the nonsense is already flying in the chat house, man. I'm Damian Barling. He's Kenny Caraway.
Yes, sir.
Are thrilled that you are here with us. If you're listening on the Odyssey app, welcome. You can take us anywhere and everywhere right there in your pocket, on your tablet, on your computer, whatever it may be. You can watch the show if you want to, twitch.tv/ESPN1320, youtube.com/ESPN1320. And of course, if you're in the car, if you got an old school radio around, an alarm clock, something with a little antenna on it, you can listen to us on 1320 AM in Northern California. But however you're listening to D-Lo and KC, we are certainly thrilled that you are here with us, coming off of an eventful week 2. Lots to talk about in the NFL. Lots to talk about with your San Francisco 49ers. As we mentioned to start this off, KC, it wasn't pretty, but it's a 2-0 start for the San Francisco 49ers.
It's a 2-0 start for the San Francisco 49ers, 17-11 in Philadelphia. Was it pretty? No, but like I say, numerous times. It's an old saying in boxing. You win today, look good tomorrow. That's all that matters, man. 2-0. I'm taking that. 2-0. And it was 2-0 on the road, 2-0 where you haven't been home in about 10 to 14 days.
Mm-hmm.
And I was sitting there. Jimmy got that quarterback sneak to put it away.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I was feeling this way. I bet Kyle, Trent Williams, George Kittle, Jimmy Garoppolo, all these guys like, let's go, boys. Let's go. Let's get on this. Let's get on this bus. Let's get out of here. Let's go. Let's go home, baby. And it's joyous. It's not, oh man, we just stole one. It's like, no, mission accomplished. 2-0. Let's go, boys. Let's go home. Come on, fellas. Let's go.
See, and that's the thing about the NFL. This isn't 160 some odd games. This isn't 82 games. This isn't 72 games. This is nothing along those lines, man. This is 17 games. This is 18 weeks. And one thing that I think is really positive when we mentioned the nonsense was flying here in the chat house nice and early is our man Ramsey jumped in here right out the gate and was like, yo, that 49ers game, man, they didn't look good, man. That was a trash football game. And it's like, one thing that I take away from yesterday is 2 weeks into the season, the 49ers have won two very different types of football games. They put up a bunch of points against a really bad Detroit Lions team, or what we believe is a really bad Detroit Lions team. I think Philadelphia is good. We talked about Philadelphia being a mystery heading into Sunday's game. We talked about it all week in that you don't want to probably can't read too much into that, big victory against the Atlanta Falcons because the Falcons stink. We know the Falcons stink. Jalen Hurts doesn't have a long track record. This is a team still, trying to figure some things out. We knew that last year they were supposed to be good, but they were decimated by injuries in a very similar way that the San Francisco 49ers were. So coming into this week, coming into that game, it was kind of like, all right, there's reasons to be optimistic. It's more like cautiously optimistic. We saw the 49ers offense hit on all cylinders in week one. That wasn't the case in week number 2, and we'll talk about the reasons why or what we believe to be the reasons why. But if you're a 49er fan, one, all that should matter is that you're 2-0. And two, I'd look at it from a positive sense, and these guys have won two very different types of football games.
Mm-hmm.
One where they scored a bunch of points, and you could talk about the final 3 minutes to death all you want to. It's irrelevant. And then one that they had to grind out, and that's what we saw yesterday.
Hey, man. Jimmy Garoppolo, he said it best after the game. I found this quote from Jimmy, and he says, quote, I've been around this league for a little while now, and teams that can win in different ways, whether it's offense, defense, or special teams stepping up, that makes for a good team. And he's right. Look, I know I have fun. I know I like the 49ers, and they're 2-0, all this other stuff. Hey, Niners ain't going 17-0. Niners probably aren't going 16-1. They're going to lose some games. But when you're multiple in that respect, where you can get in a shootout, at least it seems like you can get in a shootout, when your defense is playing well for 2 straight weeks pretty much now, and you show that you can defend, you're going to win a whole lot more games than you lose. And you're always, it seems like, always going to give yourself a chance to win. And that's one of the main things in this league is if you can go in any week, like there's nobody the Niners will play right now, and I'll just be like, they just can't compete from before the game started, right? It's like, man, they got an opportunity. They can compete. They can get in there. There's not a whole lot of teams that can say that. There's only your top teams. Kansas City, do you think, I'm not saying they're as good as Kansas City or nothing like that, but they going into Baltimore. You think they worried about going into Baltimore? No, they're like, no, we going in there to win this thing. Same thing on the flip side. Baltimore going against Kansas City. You think they're going to be like, oh, no, or we got injuries. We can't compete.
Yeah, we know how Baltimore feels about going against Kansas City.
Yeah.
We saw that.
Yeah. So that's where the 49ers are, and I'm going to take that as a starting point. The other thing about that is by no means should we be looking at any team that you think is good and say they're playing their best ball in September. You never want that. So if the Niners aren't playing their best ball right now and they're still 2-0 and they got 2 road wins, Yeah, I'm taking that. Because they got room to improve.
They definitely have room to improve because a lot went wrong yesterday, and really that there were two defining moments, but they happened one after the other that completely shifted that game. It was the defensive stop where Philadelphia had, and I know you mentioned this on the post-game edition of Game Day with Kenny Caraway yesterday, which if you want to catch Kenny's immediate reaction to the game yesterday, head over to youtube.com/ESPN 1320.
The mayor horns is flying.
What I heard. I thought I was at an old reggaeton club with all them air horns. What was it? 7 plays inside the 5?
Yeah.
And the 49ers got the stop. It led to that just ridiculous 97-yard touchdown drive before the half. And that was, to me, that was the turning point for a variety of reasons. That was the turning point right there. We kind of saw, and it's not like the 49ers offense got hot after that.
Right.
They didn't score a ton once that, but that was okay. If you're going to have to grind something out, and it was clear through the first half that this was going to be a grinded out game, you need something like that. And they got the stop on the defensive end, which led to that lengthy drive there. The
effort that they to set up that play and get beat on the 91-yard pass play. My man Diamondor Lenore gets beat, doesn't quit on the play.
Mm-hmm.
Jaquaski Tart doesn't quit on the play, runs the receiver for the Eagles down, gets the stop at about the 5 or 6 yard line, and they were able to get 6. I think I said 7. It might have been 6 stops because I think Josh Norman's PI was on 2nd down. So 6 stops. Right there. Like you said, it changed everything for that game, and then followed it up being able to go 97 yards, for the touchdown. It's a level of mental toughness that this team has that has been ingrained in this team. And I talked about it a lot last year when they were going through the injuries and things of that nature. And I said, Kyle Shanahan, I want him to be like Mike Tomlin, where regardless of what's going on, Mike Tomlin's teams are always ready to compete. They may not win every week. They may, just go against a better team. They may not have all the horses necessary to win, but every single week they're going to compete. And there's things about Kyle Shanahan and play calling and things of that nature that are frustrating and that I need to see change, and I need to see him get better. But one thing that is for sure certain every week, no matter where they go, no matter who they play, this team's going to compete. They are going to compete. They're never going to lie down. And that's because of the culture that John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan has built in 49er headquarters. And they're able to go to Philadelphia in a raucous environment and get a grinded out big boy type win. This wasn't Vikings Cardinals where everything was just being thrown around. Defense was optional. They was hitting. Ask Trey Sermon if they were hitting.
Oh, God. Yeah, we'll get to that. Not and they wasn't hitting legally either. Goodness gracious, that was brutal.
That was tough.
That was awful. Oh. That was awful. But I just want to make sure, real quick. Obviously, a lot to talk about, but just want to make sure. And we're gonna make the announcement right after the break.
Friday? Yeah. Let's go ahead and do that.
We got something for you.
Triple check. We good.
We good. Okay. We check. Confirmed. We'll announce right after the break what we got planned for you on Friday. But you are the same guy who stopped the music last year, right?
Yeah.
Because of lack of effort was that the Dolphins?
The lack of effort against the Dolphins. There was chaos going on. You had situations like Akello Weatherspoon, who wasn't ready to compete that day and left the whole team out on an island. And it wasn't his fault, but I'm just saying we had to get this guy off the street to play in corner because Akello was like, I don't know if I can go. And then when the guy gets beat, okay, I think I can go. Well, no, you need to know. You need to be ready to go. Yeah. So, we stopped the music on him. Weird. But from that moment on, I haven't had to stop the music since. They've lost.
True story.
Obviously, they've lost. We see that.
Well, the season also kind of gone to hell.
Yeah.
Because, just the injuries kept getting worse. Like, just everything kept getting bad. But
they got beat down against the Bills. I didn't stop the music there. They just got beat by a better team.
Good. Yeah. We're going to dive into all of the intricacies of this, including the rocky day that Jimmy Garoppolo had and the lack of appearance from Trey Lance. We'll dive into all of that. Plus, we got the flip side.
Yeah, we going to the flip side.
This is your favorite time of the week, isn't it? when you get to play these calls.
Oh man, I cooked this one up real good. I can't wait for this one. Philly, tell all your people in Philly to tune in to D-Lo and KC. I got something for Philly. I got something for them boys.
Real quick though, is it the grinded out way that the 49ers won this that has you feeling like this team will always be prepared?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
We'll talk more about that. We'll talk about who played well, who didn't. We already talked about the turning point. I wish we could say, okay, there were these key plays along the way. No, that was the turning point. Now, there's some other important moments in the game as well, and we'll dive into the O's. We'll dive into the Raiders win as well. We'll take a look around the league. We'll overreact to things, but we've got an announcement about someone who's joining us on Friday. Bring back a conversation we had just last week. We'll announce that next here on Sacramento's #1 sports station. It's a 49ers Monday, brought to you by Gilmore Heating, Air, and Plumbing. You get more with Gilmore. D-Lo and KC back here on Sacramento's #1 sports station, ESPN 1320. Okay.
How they missed that field goal? I was following along on my phone and saw where they were at. And I was like, okay, they're about to kick this thing in. And I checked like 5 minutes later, the score didn't change. I said, what? And then I actually saw it not too long ago.
Refreshing your app. Like, what's wrong with this? Bruh.
It's like, what? That was like a 30-yard field goal, looked like. Yeah.
Oh, do that. Yeah.
My bad, Damon. The first one, did you read 2 Gilmores or 1 City Center and 1 Gilmore?
I read 1 City Center and 1 Gilmore.
Okay. I'll hit the next City Center somewhere in between this when we rejoin. If you want.
Yeah. You got go you do the GoCityCenter.com ones. Just to make it easy.
Gotcha,
you do Go City Center Financial.
Gotcha.
I'll do 1866 Go City 6.
Okay.
Now, I hope that answers a question I asked about them last week. We good with GoCityCenter.com?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, from what I say, I haven't talked to the middleman, but when you brought up, why I wasn't on it, I was like, that's right, he did say
okay,
that was going to happen. So yeah, I think we're good. Oh no, yeah, Baltimore had. They got to stop this.
We got you, Max. We got you. That's coming up. We got you.
Yeah. Speaking of, I'm sitting up here and I'm talking about SoFi. I'm talking about Allegiant Stadium, Arizona. I'd be a little embarrassed because it was loud when the Vikings would do something positive. Very loud. Vikings got a little sneaky fan base, though.
I was gonna say that they kind of travel.
Yeah, they got a little sneaky.
They kind of travel.
Base. They tried to come into Levi's for the playoff game. He is, man. Max Crosby out there balling, man. He is out there balling. Who's the next running back? Somebody named, I think his name is Taylor Cannon. Never heard of him. But they got what's the guy that Carry On? Carry On will probably be off the practice squad. Yeah. No, man, no. It's all going according to plan. It was written like Nas. I told you guys back in May.
Rich is feeling a little feisty today. He's not not used to losing. Not used to losing early in the season, so he's not quite sure what to do today. So if everybody in the chat house, if Rich says some crazy stuff today, just give him a pass. He's grieving. He doesn't know how to handle this.
John, I did Google free agent running backs last night. Who was the guy that I came up?
How about free agent running backs under 40?
Who did I come up with? And I was like, I wonder if he is available. Oh man, who was that? And it was like, damn, I'm really going there. Oh, Shady McCoy. I was like, I wonder if he is on a roster. Well,
really,
the movement is happening.
Really, I mean, I'm with that.
Wow,
that's worth bringing on the air. Just bring that man back.
Bring him back. It's a good call.
That's weird. That's a weird one to me.
Fell off a cliff.
I guess so. Absolutely. Odyssey app available for you, whatever smartphone device that you have. You can discover hundreds of new exclusive music stations available now for sports and music fans, by sports and music fans, the new Odyssey exclusive stations on the Odyssey app, brought to you in part by Macy's, Geico, and Coke Zero Sugar. As you all know, music is a big part of D-Lo and KC. It's a big part of our show. That's why we always stop short of saying we're a sports talk show. No, we're a talk show centered around sports, certainly.
Mm-hmm.
One of the more intriguing conversations we had last week was actually about hip-hop. It was about Bay Area hip-hop. That was certainly one of the most fun conversations that we had last week, and it spread over a couple of days as Butcher Boy Joe Shaky called in. We had a vote up on YouTube about who's the greatest Bay Area rapper, and we were talking about Mac Dre, we were talking about Too Short, but you decided E40 was the greatest Bay Area rapper.
Mm-hmm.
And so we thought, we put the wheels in motion last week, and we got the confirmation today.
Yeah, man.
It's going to be an E40 Friday.
Yeah. Come on, man. Happy hour's back.
E40 is going to join us on D-Lo and KC coming up at 3:20 on Friday.
Yeah, man.
So the man that you voted the best Bay Area rapper ever is going to join us coming up on Friday. Hopefully he's good with the bottles we got behind us, because my man is an entrepreneur just like our man Rose is. He's got that.
Yeah.
He got 40 water. He got the Earl Stevens winery. Like he's dabbled in the spirits industry as well.
Yeah, man. E40. He's this guy's an icon. He's an entrepreneur, like you talked about. But I don't want to say more importantly, because he's a legend. He's an icon, like I just said.
Mm-hmm.
But just as importantly, he's a 49er fan. It's 49er Friday.
Yes,
the
indeed.
Home opener. I'm pretty sure he's gonna be there for Sunday Night Football. And when the topic was broached to 40 and his manager, it was like, oh, yeah. What? See, the home opener? Yeah, that's about right. Let's make this happen. So yeah, man, 40 will be in the building on Friday.
There you go. E40 Friday coming up at 3:20 this Friday. So make your plans to be with us. We won't let you forget E40 coming up this Friday on D-Lo and KC.
Yes, indeed. Can't wait for Friday. But Damien, today is a 49ers Monday, and it is brought to you by City Center Financial. Refinance today with below 1.99% APR at GoCityCenter.com.
So one thing that we could point out, there's the obvious stuff about the slowness of the offense, and we'll dive into that. I thought the defense played really well. You normally only get this attention if you have like a 2,000-yard rusher. You usually only get this attention if you have a quarterback who never gets touched, which is kind of the vicinity that the 49ers are in the first two games of the season. We had concerns about their offensive line headed into the season. Not big concerns, but, when we were talking about position groups, we were like, we got to keep an eye on this offensive line a little bit. Man, they've been good so far in this 2 weeks.
They have. And we talked about it a number of different times and all brought it up on 49ers game day. Everybody was in agreement that Eagles defensive line, that defensive front for the Eagles was a beast. It was their best unit on the team. And you could say the second best unit was their offensive line, but their defensive line was their best unit. They get after the quarterback, and they held up. Jimmy stayed clean yesterday. No sacks for Jimmy. They had a hard time creating running lanes in the run game, but they were able to make some adjustments. Kyle was able to make some adjustments. No handoffs. They did a little bit more tosses as the game went along, and was able to be functional enough in the running game. where they can run 38 times, which is what they did. That's what they wanted to do. We said it on Friday. They can run the ball 25 plus times. That means they're controlling the pace of the game. They're controlling what they want to do. They went to 38 times. So that offensive line, you got to tip your hat to them, number one, like I said, for keeping Jimmy upright and then doing enough in this particular game to make sure that the Niners ran the ball enough to salt this game away.
You know what play I liked? You were talking. It didn't work, but I thought it was just off his shuffle. It was just a little bit off, but I thought I thought it was executed perfectly. Trent Williams was a big part of the play. The shuffle pass, I think it went to Elijah Mitchell. Yeah. And he threw it.
Nothing might have been hasty. But yeah.
Okay. I think he threw it like he shuffled it. It was like maybe just a bit behind him.
Right.
And so it didn't, but I just thought it was perfect other than the actual flick forward. Everything else was executed perfectly. I love that play. I think when that plays, I love that play more than the screen pass because I feel when it's executed perfectly, you can catch the defense off guard so many times.
And they had him. It was just one of those things where Trent Williams got he actually almost knocked Hasty to the ground trying to get out there and be a lead blocker for him, and that messed up the timing of the play. But yeah, that was sweet. That was some good stuff right there by Kyle. Can I say this, Damian? Because people like to say, even my partner, find somebody that loves you as much as Kenny loves Kyle Shanahan.
Yes.
And I do. Yes. I love Kyle. That's my guy.
I know you do.
That's my guy. But I gotta keep it real. I gotta keep it a stack.
Okay.
I was not happy with the play calling in that game yesterday. I was very, very frustrated in the play calling in that game yesterday.
Okay. So normally when you're frustrated with play calling, you feel like it was too conservative. Mm-hmm. Is that the case from yesterday?
It was very conservative, especially later in the fourth quarter. Just running the ball into a sea of humanity, into 11 guys. Said it yesterday on the Game Day Post show. When the hell did Kyle Shanahan, who's this innovative offensive genius, when the hell did he turn into Jimmy Ray? Now, my Niner fans, y'all know who Jimmy Ray is. He was the offensive coordinator when Mike Singletary was the head coach, and that was one of the worst offenses I've ever seen in my life, the Jimmy Ray offense. And Jimmy Ray, he's with us. You know what I mean? So I hate to do that, but he wasn't a good offensive coordinator. Kyle just is yesterday, it became real conservative and real predictable. He never really made the linebackers in the secondary work or think or give them any different looks. He was content with getting the ball out of Jimmy's hands quick, and maybe that's part of the strategy because of the defensive line for the Eagles. But get it out of his hands quick, little check downs, little screens. He weren't throwing the ball down the field pretty much at all. The one time they really did was on that play to Deebo Samuel before the end of the half. And once they went up 14-3, I mean, Kyle just really went into a shell. I didn't like that, man. I didn't like that at all.
Okay. Normally I understand you, or normally I understand why you feel the way that you do. Let me ask this. Did Kyle, the Eagles defense was good. Mm-hmm. And I don't think there was a flaw in the 49ers offense. Maybe they were conservative. Maybe they should have, especially with the way Deebo played, not just yesterday, but the way Deebo's played this 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. Maybe they should have opened things up a little bit.
Yeah.
But did Kyle, and is it fair to say with the way that the game was going for the 49ers, it was a big defensive stop on the other end that led to them taking the lead. It was that big defensive stop that led to the 97-yard touchdown. Playing Kyle Shanahan advocate here, and I'll do it since we made the announcement about E40. Since E40 is going to join us on Friday, I'll do it. Maybe Kyle thought, "Yo, we're one big play away from this. We're one defensive play away. They're one defensive play away from turning this whole thing around. Now we were a defensive series away." And that's kind of what got us going offensively. But we're up. We saw what happened last week. with the final 3 minutes of the game. We know that weird things can happen. A ball can bounce off a face mask, a fumble from a guy who normally doesn't fumble. Like, you could have all of these different things happen. We've got a lead here. It's 14-3. Let's get out of Philadelphia with our second win, and let's get back to San Francisco. Let's get back to Santa Clara.
I understand that. I do. I understand that. And that's probably what his thinking was. It wasn't the wrong thing. Obviously, it wasn't the wrong thing because they won the game, right? They won. They did whatever they needed to do to get out of there with the win. So I understand it. I just feel, part of me feels like if you're that afraid to throw the ball with Jimmy Garoppolo, then why even have him back there? Like, why? And this goes to having Trey Lance. This goes to what I talk about and what I've been talking about for the last year. You've got to empower Jimmy Garoppolo. You've got to install trust in his ability, because when you really need him to, he already knows, like, I don't trust Jimmy to get the ball down the field.
I know you saw the Harbaugh Lamar clip.
Yeah.
Do you think Kyle would ever do that?
No, absolutely not.
Would Kyle ever look at Jimmy and go, Jimmy, you want to go for this? Too bad. Get off the field. Get out of here. Sit down.
So, but to your point, I mean, yesterday was one of those moments, and I started the show off by saying, like, look, just get that win in Philadelphia. Go 2-0 to start the season. Go 2-0 on the road to start the season, and we'll figure out everything later on. One of the things that did frustrate me, though, is you mentioned him a little bit. You got a guy like Deebo Samuels who is looking like a beast right now. He's looking like a beast. He's looking like a problem every time he steps on the field, and a big play capable player.
Mm-hmm.
But you also got a guy that is a playmaker and that can change a game when he touches the football. And that's George Kittle. And we looked last Monday. I didn't get a chance to go back and look at the film for yesterday in Pittsburgh. But we know last Monday, Waller got 65, 67 targets in that game. They threw the ball, to him relentlessly.
Was that an exact number? 65,
I wasn't sure if it was 65, 66, or 67, so I just said anywhere between 65. But I know I'm in the vicinity.
Felt like it. Yeah,
yeah. Travis Kelce last night probably got another 30, 40 targets himself. And we got George Kittle only 4 targets yesterday.
Yeah.
And I part of me understands, like, look, you can't do that with Kittle because he is a true tight end. Like, Waller and Kelce seem to be heftier wide receivers more than they are tight ends, if that makes any sense. Like, they don't really do a lot of blocking. They don't do all that other stuff that tight ends traditionally do. George Kittle is a true tight end. So he plays physical. He's trying to run through guys. He's taking hits. He's blocking. Then if you put a lot on his table early, you may have him break down as the season goes along. So I get that. At the same time, we got to have more than 4 targets in a game. They should have 4.5, let alone 4 in a game. You know what I mean? I'm saying he should have, when you talk about targets, like, you may not actually give him the rock. You talk about targets, 8 to 10. 8 to 10 plays each half where it's like, yo, we're looking for Kittle here. He's option 1. If they take him away, then we know we got plan B and C. But this is a Kittle play. You got a Kittle package. We need to dive into that a little bit more, Kyle.
Well, just for accuracy's sake, Kelce had 8 targets yesterday and 7 in week 1.
You 8 in the first 5 minutes of the game? Is that what you mean?
No,
or the whole game.
He had 8 the whole game.
Oh,
he had 8 the whole game. He had 7 the game before. Waller had 7 yesterday.
7 on one drive?
7 in the game. Right. But the week 1 targets, I think, is what got your attention, because I remember you talking about this last week. 19 targets in week 1. Lord. Yeah. And he made them pay for like 17 of those 19 targets. Like, he was a bad man. But still, your point's valid. You said 8 to 10. 4 is not enough.
Yeah.
Especially for George Kittle. And when you're talking about the the holy trinity, if you will, of tight ends. You're talking about those three guys, and George Kittle's not getting the amount of targets that he deserves.
And our guy, he says, hell no. I use George Kittle as a decoy until he can respect Trey Lance. I'm not sure what Trey Lance has to do with it. But I will say this. The touchdown pass to Juwan Jennings, that was the Kittle effect. If you go back and you look at it, Kittle's on the same side. He cuts in. Two Eagles defenders follow him, completely leave Juwan Jennings alone because the gravity of having him around, they're like, yo, we got to look at Kittle here. We got to look at Kittle. He was used as a decoy in that particular situation to open it up for somebody else. So there is that aspect of it. But after your second 3 and out to start the game, you come on the field for that third one. It's got to be like, all right, let's start cooking. Let's get George the ball. Let's get Deebo the ball. Let's get cooking. You know what I mean? I didn't feel like Kyle did that yesterday.
So Kittle has 9 targets total on the year. Yeah, and I just want to point out Darren Waller had 19 in week 1.
Jeez.
Now, okay. What do you like to say? What do you like to say?
I like to say a lot of things.
You do, but one of your many Caraway-isms is, hey, we're good too. Mm-hmm. We're a good team too, or we get paid to play football as well.
Yeah.
The Philadelphia Eagles, let's look. They had to. At least my guess would be that defense's game plan. George Kittle was, if he wasn't at the very, very, very top, he was right near the top. And my guess is he was at the very, very top of their game plan. I'm going to guess, and we can rewatch this game again tonight or tomorrow, but I'm going to guess they made we were talking about the all 22 before the show started. You can get a really good peek at what Philadelphia's game plan is when you look at the all 22 for particular players. But maybe that was the game plan. Limit the targets to George Kittle. Limit the ability for George Kittle to get open. Limit the ability for Jimmy Garoppolo to even look at George Kittle. Because how many times does Jimmy hit, Kittle 3 yards out, 4 yards out? He does the same thing with Deebo as well. And then all of a sudden it's a 18, 19, 20 yard gain.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that is true too. There's something in that is keeping Kittle from being more involved. And I understand all of it. I understand what you just said. I understand about him being a decoy. I understand about trying to keep him healthy. I get it all. I don't like that, but yeah, I mean, I understand
if he's healthy, play him, get out there and play, use him.
No, I agree. I agree. I just when I hear about what you said, when you say, these guys are getting paid too, and they're looking to stop him. I'm sure Waller's on the defensive game plan. I'm sure Kelsey's on the defensive game plan, and Andy Reid, John Gruden, they find a way to get him an opportunity. You know what I mean? Whether it's with wide receiver screens, and Kyle did that once or twice yesterday, little Kittle screen or something like that. But man, I don't know. He's your best player. He's your best player on offense, and if you are being conservative with the play call and being cautious with the play call, you're doing the defense's job for them. If you're not trying to get him the ball, you're taking him away better than the defense is. I need to see a little bit more Kittle, especially, like I said, if the offense was humming and it was going all around, sure, but it was struggling. They needed a spark. That's when you go to your best players. That's when you go to your guys right there. Kyle didn't do that too much yesterday. But, Damian, they got the win.
The win.
And that's, to be honest with you, that's all I'm really caring about. I'm not worried. Kyle will figure it out. Kittle will have one of his traditional seasons. He's going to get his numbers. He's going to have his offensive plays that will impact. The most important thing is getting the W. And I don't care if it was 17-11, 7-3, 2-0. They got out of Philadelphia with a victory. And Philadelphia was rocking yesterday. It was rocking. I was looking into that crowd. I was hearing. They're up there standing the whole time. They're up there intense, getting loud all game long. That was a raucous environment. That was a hostile environment. And they went in there in those beautiful road whites that they love to wear. They took care of business, man. Let's go. Let's go, guys. Come on, let's go. Let's get on that bus. We up out of here, baby. Let's go, baby. Come on, 2-0. That's all that matters to me.
So why it didn't feel like the offense got into a particular groove yesterday, Jimmy Garoppolo finishing 22 of 30 with 189 yards and that one touchdown pass. Deebo Samuel accounted for 93 of those 189 yards, and he is off to an incredible start this season. As a matter of fact, he's off to a start that's only been bested by two other 49ers in history.
Wow.
He has the third most yards through two games as than any other 49er in history. Third most yards than anyone in history for the San Francisco 49ers through two games. And again, we're talking about a team that feels like they struggled offensively yesterday. We're talking about a quarterback who felt like he never got into a groove yesterday, but yet we're talking about the guy who really has. Talk about George Kittle and Jimmy versus Trey and Kyle's a genius and 97 is back, and we got to talk about that because you talk about a game changer, man. But Deebo's been a stud these first 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Like Deebo has been these first 2 weeks, Deebo has been the guy where you're like, that's it. That's what we've been waiting for.
Yeah.
That's what we've been wanting. That's what those 282 yards he had through the first two games. That's what we expected from him. This is the guy we've been waiting for.
Absolutely. He's a game changer. He is a game changer, and he's somebody that can give it to you any way you want it on the offensive end, because he's not going to just line up and run the same type of route. The creativity that Kyle Shanahan has with him, whether it's end rounds, whether it's inside handoffs, although I didn't like that sequence in the second quarter when he did that. But he's dynamic from a number of different locations, wide receiver screens, all that other stuff. He's dynamic, a dynamic playmaker. And last year, he could never really get it going because starting off with a broken foot and things of that nature, came into this season healthy, and he's hit the ground running from the start. Done a great job, man. Deebo's the truth, man. He is the truth.
A couple of notes on the game plan that Kenny Caraway was just sharing his frustrations about. What they did yesterday was a far cry from what they did in week one. Jimmy Garoppolo's the average distance in the air per attempt yesterday was 3.8. 3.8 yards. That's a far cry from week one where it was 6.5.
Right.
In passes that were 10 or fewer yards, Jimmy was 19 of 23 for 117 yards. In passes that were over 10 yards, he was 3 of 7 for 72.
Yeah, so, Jimmy, he was up and down. He started the game very bad. It felt like we were like a series away from Kyle bringing in Trey. I don't think Kyle felt that way, but watching it, I know I was almost calling for him. You know what I mean? I was like, well, geez, I mean, Trey could do this. You know what I mean? But Jimmy got it together, made some big throws. I keep saying it. I was frustrated with some of the misses to Sanu, the miss to Brandon Ayuk, and a couple other ones. But that pass to Deebo at the end of the first half was perfect. Pinpoint, hitting it in between the two defenders, hitting them on the run so he can keep going. A perfect pass for Jimmy Garoppolo in a huge spot. Because if they don't complete that, or if it gets picked off or whatever, maybe they settle for 3. They were at midfield at the time with 28 seconds to go. So maybe they settled for 3 or whatever the case may be. But when he had to make a pass, he made a big one to Deebo and got it going. So, and then you go to his halftime stats, and I have the notes in front of me. I don't see them, but it felt like he was so bad in the first half. But he was like 14 and 20 for 116 yards or something. Like, it wasn't terrible. It wasn't great, but it wasn't what it felt like. And it's just because the scrutiny for Jimmy Garoppolo on every single pass, every single decision that's made is at levels I don't know if I've ever seen before. Maybe Cap when he took over for Alex, but I don't think so because everybody was happy with. A lot of people were happy with Cap going in. People aren't happy with Jimmy starting. People are like, oh, well, it's only going to be Jimmy for a little while, and then Trey's going to come in when he's ready. I don't know.
And we didn't see Trey yesterday, and I think that's a topic worth diving into. There's been all this talk about, the 2-quarterback system. Kyle Shanahan kind of set himself up saying, I don't want Trey to go another year without playing football. He didn't play, he just played that one basic exhibition game. And the 49ers are desperate to find a running back, and Adam Schefter's tweeting right now. They're trying to find someone healthy. The 49ers backfield banged up. They're bringing in free agent running backs Duke Johnson and Lamar Miller. All right, then. We'll dive into that. I want to talk about Trey Lance. We got the flip side.
Hey, tell your people in Philly to tap in on the Odyssey app or on YouTube or Twitch. I need Philly to get in here because they was running their mouth all week. I need Philly in here now.
They was running their Twitter fingers as well. We'll run that flip side for you when we return here. It's a 49ers Monday brought to you by Gilmore Heating and Air and Plumbing. You get more with Gilmore. We're back with more of D'Lo and KC next on Twitch, on YouTube, on Odyssey, and on Sacramento's #1 sports station, ESPN 1320. Gilmore throwing me off with adding the plumbing in there. So used to hearing Gilmore Heating and Air. Lamar Miller coming in. Duke Johnson. They're visiting.
Was Lamar Miller, because I always
Texans?
forget yeah, and he tore his ACL in the preseason, I think.
Correct.
Against the Cowboys, yeah.
Yep.
He's supposed to have a big year that year too. Duke Johnson. I always thought Duke Johnson was okay. I mean,
Jesse, do the rewind tweet if you want to. That's a good idea. Yeah, why not?
I mean, more than anything, they just need some bodies, bro. I can't have my man Cannon out there as the #1 running back, RB1.
If you're, not a knock, but if you're bringing in Lamar Miller for a visit and you're bringing in Duke Johnson for a visit, why not bring in Frank Gore?
Right. Yeah. Sherilyn B. Moore.
Oh, somebody riding high today.
Yeah. Although, she's not.
Oh.
So she can explain herself, but I'll tell you a little something that I learned. Sherilyn Baltimore, she's cool with the Ravens because it's the hometown team, but she's a Vikings fan.
Ouch. Ouch. I do not understand.
Hey, Dr. David, I don't need to say nothing. Flip side gonna say it all for me. I just need Philly in here. Philly was talking, boy. Philly was talking and tweeting all week long, man. I didn't say nothing. Once again, humble hearts.
They calling for Frank, man. Let's go.
I love Frank to come back, man.
Wait, is Jalen Rashad a free agent? Is that right? T Green?
What'd you say, Jesse?
Frank Gore, a legend everywhere.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's that call. That's a good call right there.
Roddy's at it again. Shout out Roddy.
Roddy just he loved going at
it. Roddy in the building.
Oh, he's on IR. Okay, yeah. I didn't think he was a free agent. Let's see.
Going
following Jalen Rashad much. He definitely should not be out of the league though. Placed on.
Oh yeah, man. Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think Fox might have found something. I feel like they kind of been wasting Gus with college football. Get him on that big stage, man.
Yep. I agree. That was fun to listen to.
What you talking about, Bryce? Oh, selling the shoes. I don't know. Explain in depth. We had a good time, man. We had a good time. I gotta give a shout out when we come back, man. Good time with good people, good food, man. It was all good.
Oh, I heard that story. I heard that story. Shoot, Cheryl, you should have come over. I told Kenny, y'all should have just come over to the house.
Yeah, they was
hell, if I would have known there was kids here, I didn't think there were gonna be any kids here. If I would have known there was kids here, I would just bring Reese over.
Reese was off his Neymar Jr. on Saturday.
We're going to hit that flip side here in just a heartbeat, KC. 49ers Monday is brought to you by City Center Financial. Refinance today below 1.99%. APR at 1866. Go City 6. If you're just tuning in, E40 is going to join us coming up Friday on 320. Happy Hour is back, baby.
Yeah.
Make your plans to be with us. And as voted by you, the greatest Bay Area hip-hop artist of all time. E40 coming up here on Dealing with KC this Friday, 320. Now, what has turned into Kenny Caraway's favorite day of the week? And it's all fun and games while the 49ers are winning. So Kenny likes to search out the sound from the opposing team's broadcast and present it to us here on Mondays.
Like I said, I like
Fridays and Tuesdays, of course.
I like different points of views. I just want to hear what the other people say during some of the big moments in the game. We always, Papa and Tim Ryan, shout out to them. We hear them. I got their sound in the bank as well. But I want to know what's going on the other side of the street sometimes. You know what I mean? And like I said, Philadelphia, a lot of Eagles fans chirping on Twitter. No different than anybody else, but hey, they chirping on Twitter, dismissing the defense that the 49ers had. 49ers invasion was in full effect. A lot of 49er fans in the building on Sunday, taking over the Rocky statue on Saturday. There was a lot of heat going on. And last week when I did this in the chat, we had your Roddies. We had your John Bulls. We had your Ramses that were telling me, Kenny Caraway, make sure you have that same energy next week after the Eagles. You saw what they did to the Falcons. Make sure you have that same energy. Well, guess what? I got the same energy. Hit it.
Oh man.
Not back to back. Oh, no.
Oh, man.
Get in here, Philly.
To the left of Hurts.
Oh, this is razzle dazzle.
This time, it's a razzle dazzle. Rolling with the football is Greg Ward. He's looking, and he throws incomplete. They reversed it to Greg Ward, the former Houston quarterback, and he was going to try to throw to Hurts in the base of the end zone, but it didn't work because the 49ers had it well covered.
Damn right.
Oh, man.
Oh, more Drizzy.
Oh, man.
Garoppolo in an empty backfield. Sets Hasty in motion. Garoppolo backs up, fires, complete, across the 30, across the 25, Samuel, the 20, the 15, and out of bounds at the 10 goes Deebo Samuel.
They was talking about Deebo like crazy.
17 seconds to go until halftime. In the gun, empty backfield. Garoppolo's back. He's looking. He is firing. Wide open. In for the touchdown.
Got him.
They score. They get it to Jawan Jennings.
Got him.
Wide open at about the 3-yard line. He took the pass and went in for an 11-yard touchdown. And the 49ers take the lead with 12 seconds to go.
Got him.
Oh, man.
More Drake.
Oh,
More
man.
Drake.
Oh, man.
Garoppolo lines them up. Does he sneak? Garoppolo calling for the football. Garoppolo still calling for the football. He sneaks and he has it. You knew what he was doing. They could not stop him. Again, 49ers offensive line overpowered the Eagles defensive line.
Easy work.
And it wasn't by a matter of inches.
Easy work.
Jesus. Is that it? That's gotta be. All right.
Flip side, Eagles edition. Philly, you need to get up in here. Y'all need to get up in here.
Gonna get a note from Danny in San Francisco that we got fined $10,000 for using Drake for half a second.
The boys went back to back on Drake on Philly. They went back to back on him.
Bro,
they went back to back.
I'm with the chat. Twitch.tv/ESPN1320, YouTube.com/ESPN1320. What year did you pull that audio from? Was he the first Philadelphia Eagles announcer ever?
Yo, let that man live.
Man, hey, I get like legends are legends, but God bless it. Do you have?
He's a legend. They're keeping him in there in Philly, you know. They keeping him in there. Merrill Reese, shout out to him, man.
1947? Because that would make more sense to me than 1977.
Oh man.
Brian Cruz said that guy made Brett Musburger sound current. Man, goodness gracious.
Hey, man, like I said, I'm going to be here every day after a 49ers game with Flip Side. Y'all just wanted it to be the other way around because that's the other thing I want. That's the other thing we heard in the chatty house, everywhere else. Oh, yo saw what the Falcons did or what the Eagles did to the Falcons. That was way more impressive than the Lions. 32 to how you gonna stop Jalen Hurts? The RPO.
See, Kenny's reading. You see what's happening? Kenny's reading text in his own tone. Like someone could have just met. Like we tried to teach this lesson last week. The brother could have just been saying, "Hey, what are you gonna do about Jalen Hurts?" And Kenny's reading it. Hey, yo, what y'all gonna do about Jalen Hurts?
That's a great point.
See?
That's a great point. Roddy, you was the main one. The Eagles, what they did to the Falcons was more impressive than the Lions.
Roddy is baiting you with every text, and you keep falling for it. Roddy, I don't even think Roddy's a fan of the show. He just jumps in the chat.
He loves the show. He loves the chat.
The trash talk.
I got
something for Roddy.
That's why I got Flip Side all the time.
I got something that'll make even Roddy laugh. This is the only thing better than this was the call to the game. Vikings, Cardinals, tons of points, tons of excitement.
Yeah.
And most importantly, Gus Johnson and Aqib Talib.
Oh,
now, that's not what we got here. What we have here is the Vikings radio call. The Vikings radio call for the final play of the game.
High snap, put down. Joseph, come on! It is gone! No, he missed it. Are you kidding me? He missed it right. He missed it right. Oh, my heavens. Oh, my.
Boy, I want it. Just life comes at you fast. Listen to how quick
run that back.
This was from our man Paul Allen.
High snap, put down.
And by the way, Paul Allen is a pro. Yeah. Like he is a professional.
It's an all-timer.
Put down. Joseph, come on! It is gone! No, he missed it. Are you kidding me? He missed it right. He missed it right. Oh, my goodness. Oh.
If I was Paul Allen, I would have been like, Jesse, edit that out of the live broadcast. We rocking with this.
There was
one.
A lot there, man.
That's
there was
good.
a lot. We had, even before it's good, the call. I mean, that was great. But the Tim Ryan guy there.
Oh.
Come on.
I don't know like how many people realize like how useless an analyst can be at times. Because there are times where analysts are just useless. This is a great example of that.
High snap, put down. Joseph, come on! It is gone! No, he missed it. Are you kidding me? He missed it right. He missed it right. Oh my
Crazy part is, I'm dying to know what the monitor looked like. Because I heard the call spliced over the TV video. And again, I don't know what the monitor looked like, but watching the TV video, it's like, oh, it's no good.
Yeah.
But I'm listening to Paul. I'm like, damn, I can't see nothing. Like, wait a minute. What kind of trickery did that just do?
That was funny. I hadn't, you
sure
alerted me to that. You alerted me to that, and I hadn't heard it. I was like, I'm just going to wait until I hear it on the air. And that was funny. That was some good stuff. You guys are going to want to tune in to the November 29th version of D-Lo and KC in a flip side. That's the day after they play the Vikings. I want to tap in to that one to hear Paul Allen on the flip side.
So yesterday was a big day for injuries. We'll go over those as the day goes along. There's some other things, 49ers, a lot more things 49ers related I want to talk about. We just mentioned that Duke Johnson and Lamar Miller are coming in for workouts or coming in for visits. And I don't know why Frank Gore's name isn't on that list. Maybe it's a big reveal. Maybe Frank Gore's going to do a run-in later on in the week. Adam Schefter also tweeted Colts head coach Frank Wright said Carson Wentz sprained both ankles. And it's too early to tell what his status is for this Sunday. That's going to be a theme that you're going to hear throughout the day. That's going to be a theme that you're going to hear throughout the week, as there were a lot of injuries yesterday. And I'm curious, like on the same play, like how did?
I surely hope not. Jeez.
I mean, I do too. Not that I give a damn about Carson Wentz. I don't hope for anybody to be injured. I got to be honest though, it'd be really impressive. You sprained both ankles on the same play. That's
I could see you running. You roll your ankle. You roll your right. And you're like, oh, and you like try to hop off on your left, and then, roll the other one. It's the only thing I could see.
The sound of your voice, the way you said that, made me think. Anthony Johnson passed away. I think he goes by AJ.
Yeah.
I was stunned to see that. Most people know him from Friday. Like he's the he's the guy in House Party where Robin Harris says, you better not never commit no crime with that. You follow the drip. I never even knew this. You know what his name was supposed to be in that movie? And I don't even know that they ever referred to it on camera. His name is the letter E, the letter Z, and the letter E. So his name is E-Z-E. And I think I'll have to pull this up and see if this is right. Didn't he play Eazy-E in the Dre Day video?
He did. He did. He was on the side of the freeway.
And I mean, of course, right. What did it say? We'll rap for food or something like that?
Dancing on the side of the freeway.
And I think, I mean, obviously he's most famous for Ezel on Friday. But yeah,
but he is most famous for that. But he was in Baps. You remember he was
Baps.
not how
I didn't, but I do.
You don't remember the movie Baps or remember?
No,
him?
I said I wish I do remember. I wish I did.
Baps wasn't bad. Stop. Relax.
Okay.
Baps was not bad. It was all right. But he was in that. He was in Players Club, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was in Players Club, and then he was in what's the other one I'm thinking of? Oh man, I'm drawing a blank. But
He's a funny dude, man.
55, man. Come on, man.
No good, man.
Man.
He was in I Got the Hookup. You remember his role in I Got the Hookup?
Yeah. Warren says
don't ever say
out
out
Society.
loud that you watched I Got the Hookup. Was he?
I don't remember that.
I don't remember him in Menace to Society. I did Killing Some Time on Saturday. I had House Party 2 on, and I noticed something I had never noticed before.
Jamal?
You can't watch House Party and not notice Jamal. You can't watch House Party 2
is he here?
The university kid went to. It's Harris University, which I have to believe is a nod to Robin Harris, who had passed away by the time they filmed that movie.
Wow, I didn't notice that either.
I just like, as they pulled up, his kid is taking him to school, or play is taking him to school. I was like, yo, that says Harris University. I was like, oh, okay, that's a cool little tribute right there.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
You're listening to D-Lo and KC on ESPN 1320 KIFM West Sacramento, KRXQ HD2 Sacramento, and Odyssey Station, and driven by Lashers Elk Grove Dodge. He's Kenny Caraway. I'm Damian Barling. This 49ers Monday rolls along here. Let's dive back into some questions now that we've had some laughs. We've had some fun. We'll have some overreactions coming up. That's the best thing we saw this weekend. We'll dive in some other things going on around the NFL this week. But you kind of just laid a scenario out a few moments ago. We were talking about Jimmy Garoppolo. You were talking about how heavily scrutinized Jimmy Garoppolo is. Every pass. Okay, we heard it on our meeting this morning. Okay, take him out. Take him out. He just overshot Mohamed Sanu. Take him out. Bring in Trey Lance. Like we overreact. Like every it's not Overreaction Monday with Jimmy Garoppolo. It's Overreaction Sunday.
Yeah.
But we didn't see Trey Lance at all yesterday. And I got a couple of questions about that. One, why do you think we didn't see Trey Lance yesterday?
No need to. Starting quarterback was in there.
Well, we didn't need to see him in week 1 either, but we did.
But some people would say we shouldn't have seen him. Especially
Jimmy Garoppolo would say.
Well, especially at the play calls that were made for him when he got in there after the touchdown throw. I mean, why are you wasting our time, wasting Trey's time, wasting Trey's potential health with those play calls? You could have kept him out then.
Okay.
But we didn't see him today. Niners got down to that red zone area this time. Maybe Kyle Shanahan was like, you know what? Jimmy's right. I'm not going to take this guy out right now. I'm going to give him the opportunity to see if he can punch the ball in the end zone and we can get something going in, first and goal situations with him.
Okay. So, Kyle was obviously willing. Do you think there's, because I don't think you and Kyle Shanahan are seeing this the same way. I think Kyle's going to pick and choose, and I think this is clear now 2 weeks into the season. He's going to pick and choose appropriate times to put Trey Lance in. My initial opinion, like the buzzer goes off, the 49ers win. It's immediate. Like one of the first things I'm thinking about is, okay, we didn't see Trey Lance. We didn't see any gimmicky stuff. We didn't see any of that happen today. Okay, why? Well, we started off the show, I think, talking about how good the Eagles defense and the flow of the game was. It probably wasn't a time where your offense isn't in a groove to throw a new quarterback out there in the middle of a drive and go, hey, we haven't been able to get anything to click all day. Let's throw you out there and see if we're able to get something to go here. By the way, get rid of the ball pretty quick because that front seven is surrounding Jimmy pretty quickly. That's why his passes are 3 yards in the air per attempt.
Right.
That was my first thought. Then my second thought was, well, when are we going to see Trey Lance again then? And I think every game is going to be dictated more than anything. Time and score, I think, will be a factor. Mm-hmm. But more than anything, I think the caliber of defense they're playing will play a big factor as well. Mm-hmm. You could argue that that's silly. Like every defense, like you know, defenses can have good days, they can have bad days. Like you could argue that all you want to, and I'd listen to it. I don't know what the protocol is for this. It's just I go back to Kyle Shanahan's own words. I feel like Kyle Shanahan set himself up here by saying, I don't want Trey Lance to go another year without playing football. Right. So we're going to try to find, a way to work him in. Okay, well, you weren't able to work him in here. You going to work him in against Green Bay Sunday night, home opener? Because there is a danger to that. Think about this. Think about you got Jimmy out there rolling. Hell, maybe you got a good game. Maybe you go with a first quarter. You go 2 quarterback systems. You bring in Trey Lance. Home opener, right? What do you think it's going to sound like when Trey Lance runs out on the field the first time?
Oh, it's standing ovation.
And then let Jimmy come back out and throw an incompletion to Mohamed Sanu or anybody. I don't know why I keep using Mohamed Sanu's name, but he throws an incompletion to somebody. He's doing
an incompletion to Mohamed Sanu.
That's probably why. What do you think the hometown crowd's reaction is going to be?
Moans and groans.
I feel like you're I'm not saying you can't play him at home. I'm just saying with the idea that you put out there, and he certainly doesn't have to stick with it. Kyle Shanahan has every right to go with, I changed my mind. It's fine if he doesn't play football this year. We'll have him ready, but it doesn't matter. I don't know when we're going to see. I feel like we'll see him next week. I do. Good. I think there'll only be a handful of games throughout the year, maybe where we don't see Trey Lance again. The old asterisk, barring injury. I don't envision it where he's completely no snaps like he was yesterday. But I think he gets out there on the field on Sunday against the Packers. Sunday night,
I can see it.
And the crowd goes nuts.
Yeah, and like Holyfield just won the fight, as Andre 3000 just once said. But I can see it. I just look at it where it just seems like you'd be forcing him in there. There's no real need.
Absolutely, you are.
Yeah,
I completely agree.
But yeah, just to get him in there. Now, the ironic thing about this is it's so complex, in my opinion, because I hear a lot of people saying, like our guy Calvin Grayson, he says, forget all the complaints about Jimmy. Fact is, Trey's not ready quite yet. I agree, but part of me believes that Trey can go out there and do what Jimmy does or what he's doing right now. Like, Jimmy's not doing anything spectacular. He's playing good against the Lions. I mean, at Kyle, there was a lot there, and Jimmy was hitting and he was doing great. But it's not like Jimmy is out there doing what Pat and Lamar did last night. He's not doing that.
Nobody's doing that.
You know what I mean? Like, they went the first three possessions 3 and outs. And then they got a drive going where they got to midfield. Kyle ran the ball on 3rd and 8. Yeah. I'm thinking, okay, cool. You're going for it on 4th. No, he punts the ball. Yeah. What?
Yeah.
And those type of things make me say, if you're having that level of production, and it was just one game, one half, that's the thing that we got to always remember. But if that's what you got going on, Trey can do that. He may not be ready to take over the league. He may never be ready for that, but he may not be ready for that today. But he can do that. He can hand off to Elijah Mitchell. He can throw these little outs to George Kittle and things of that nature. He can do that. So when you talk about is he ready or what Jimmy has ahead of him, Jimmy has just kind of seen it all. Whether he physically can get the job done or whatever, I don't feel like he's going to be confused by anything. You know what I mean? I don't know. I still say Jimmy's your starting quarterback, and until it gets bleak in the season, he should continue to be your starting quarterback. You keep winning, you get to 6-2, 7-2, 8-3, whatever the case may be. Jimmy should be the starting quarterback.
Yeah, Jimmy hasn't done anything to lose his job, in my opinion. That's what we were talking about during training camp, is if there was a moment where you felt like Trey Lance had won the job, or a moment where you felt like Jimmy Garoppolo had lost the job, that moment, none of those moments existed. It's certainly not from what we were able to see, and certainly not from what we were able to hear. Now, of course, everybody was raving. All of the people who were at practices, the various people that we talked to, throughout the weeks, were raving about the way that Trey Lance performed at practice. But Trey Lance is the new hotness. Of course you're going to rave about him. You're not going to rave about Jimmy Garoppolo. You've talked about Jimmy Garoppolo for the last handful of years. You're not going to talk about him again this year. You wanted to talk about something new, something exciting. That's what Trey Lance was.
Right.
But in the end, it was practice. It was all like when it came down, when it boiled down to those preseason games, combined with the stuff you saw in practice, even if you didn't feel like Jimmy was better than Trey Lance, it was a wash. And at that point, this isn't a Cam Newton, Mac Jones situation where you're wondering what Cam has left. I don't think you're wondering what Jimmy Garoppolo has left. You're just wondering whether Jimmy Garoppolo is good enough to get a really good team, or at least what we believe to be a really good team, back to the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Well, and I believe that not only can they get to the Super Bowl, they can win a Super Bowl with Jimmy Garoppolo. That's for sure. The only reason why we're in this predicament with Jimmy and Trey is because Jimmy makes a lot of money. And even more than that, you just can't rely on him to stay healthy. You said a number of different times, it's not the talent. It's not whether or not you can win with him. You obviously can win with Jimmy Garoppolo, but he's made of porcelain, it feels like. Like he can be out for 6 weeks to a year at the drop of a dime. Now, any quarterback any NFL player has that capability. We understand that, but it just seems to happen to Jimmy more often since he's been given a bigger playing load.
49ers Monday is brought to you by Gilmore Heating, Air, and Plumbing. You get more with Gilmore. We're coming back. We've got Overreaction Monday on the way. The best thing we saw this weekend. And the 49ers aren't the only team that has a fan base here in Northern California to go 2-0. Raiders get a win over the Steelers, and Derek Carr is playing some good ball. We'll talk about all of that as D'Lo and Casey continue here on Twitch, on YouTube, on the Odyssey app, and on Sacramento's #1 sports station, ESPN 1320. Warren, I see you. That was a good call. I forgot about that. A.J. Johnson's in that scene with Samuel L. Jackson at the beginning, where Samuel L. Jackson shoots the dude and says, "Do you owe me some money?" And he says, "Hell no, but here you go." That's AJ. It's a good call, Warren.
Yeah. Poker pro. Mac Jones.
Man, wow. Wow.
Do you know, Poker Pro, do you even know what Mac Jones did yesterday?
You know, De'Aaron and Tyrese are speaking to the media today.
Oh, word?
Okay.
Oh, word?
Yeah. I think they might be talking right now. Let me. Yeah, I don't want to.
Tony Edwards, man. Take care. Tony Edwards' mom's. Hopefully,
church picnic, man.
Yeah, that's tough.
Terrible.
That is tough.
Terrible. Let's go.
By the way,
let's go.
Mac Jones, 22 of 30, 186. No touchdowns, no picks yesterday. Mac Jones is a cool quarterback, man. He's cool. He's about what I thought he would be.
Zach Wilson had a special day.
Miami. Zach Wilson.
Mac Jones had I think he had an identical stat line to Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah. Jimmy had a touchdown pass.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't want Jimmy?
By the way, we got another Jimmy Bowl sighting.
What today?
Panthers at Texans.
Ooh. Might just need to turn
2-0 Panthers, by the way.
I'm about to say, maybe we don't. You see what Sam Darnold doing?
2-0 Panthers.
Just turn that broadcast into Thursday Night Jimmy.
Well, that might have meant something else back in the 90s. What's that?
Yeah.
Who is?
Urban Meyer.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. Yeah. I think he said, be patient. All right, Urban. Shut up, man.
I think I got to double check, but I thought I heard somebody say Trevor Lawrence didn't have the best game yesterday.
Can y'all hit the thumbs up? We gotta. Hey, shout out to Twitch. Twitch representing strong today. Twitch, we appreciate y'all. But
that is nasty.
But y'all on YouTube, can you split second? Just hit the thumbs up.
bang.
Let us. It's
Bang,
just
hit it real
we're
quick.
insecure. It's your way of telling us that you love us every day. That little thumbs up right there. Boy, they running an ad for Gino Auriemma before our show starts. All right.
What?
Yeah. Gino Auriemma masterclass. This is a 2-minute and 22-second ad. I mean, I could skip it, but I'm just curious. What the hell am I watching?
What kind of masterclass is he doing?
Gino Auriemma teaches leading winning teams.
Oh,
It says official trailer. Maybe it's a show.
okay. All right.
I like Gino. He's only an asshole when he's drinking.
I didn't see the game. I didn't say he played well. I looked at the numbers, and the numbers weren't impressive. But hey, I don't know. I know who they got, one of the top offensive lines. Yeah.
Streaming live on the Odyssey app, streaming live on twitch.tv/ESPN1320, streaming live on youtube.com/ESPN1320, and of course, just broadcasting live on ESPN1320.
Broadcasting live on this 49ers Monday, and that is brought to you by City Center Financial. Refinance today below 1.99% APR. Go ahead and get that at GoCityCenter.com today.
Best thing we saw this weekend, partner. All lead us off. It was pretty awesome, and I'm big into crowd reactions. It's one of the reasons that I've always loved wrestling, is I love watching people react to something that they're invested in. That moment before the game, when last night in Baltimore, when the Farmer in the Dell whistle hits, made famous by Omar in The Wire. Michael K. Williams, and there was this moment where the crowd like they picked up on what was happening and they reacted to it, and I thought, man, that was an awesome moment. And that was just a precursor to an amazing game.
That was really cool. They did a great job with that, and the fans, once they reacted to it, or once they recognized what it was, they're like, oh, let's turn up. Like, it got them hyped. I mean, maybe it's a one-off. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if they did that every
you
game.
could keep that around.
You absolutely keep that around. It's
Omar's coming.
the other one they had.
Omar's coming.
A lot better than the other pregame ritual they have every other damn home game.
Yeah, can we just put that dude on the shelf? Put him in a box. Just put him somewhere. Like, quit marching that dude out there every.
This guy comes out every other home game.
How has he not been canceled yet? Just canceled, just because we're tired of him. Like what? He is the fakest freaking human being on the planet. He's so phony. Like, I literally cannot stand Ray Lewis.
Yeah,
he is so freaking phony. I'll never forget. We was in the back. We was gonna sign Colin Kaepernick, but then his girlfriend started popping up at the mouth. Like, hold up, like, what position do you have with the Baltimore Ravens? You got the checkbook? You're deciding who comes in here and play? No, don't do that. Ozzie Newsome makes decisions, or made decisions. You got a general manager in there making decisions. Obviously, what's my man's name? Steve Bisciotti. He's the one who makes the ultimate decision. But he ended up talking about, we was going to do this, but then, I wasn't kneeling. I was in prayer. That's why I was on both knees. I wasn't kneeling for no national anthem. I was praying during the national anthem. Like, dude, shut up. You are such a fraud. You ain't never had anything to say about God until your ass was going to jail for murder. Double murder. And you talk about sweeping stuff under the rug, man. That dude won like a Super Bowl the next year and has been the most. You think he a member of the New Day with the power of positivity? Don't you dare be sour. My God, man, I hate that dude. He is awful. He is trash.
I was I started to, see what was going on with Ray. The moment I knew it was all an act was in the year they won the Super Bowl, the second one. They had that win in the divisional round against the Broncos, where Flacco throws the Hail Mary almost at the end of the game and end up winning.
Crazy.
They talked to Ray afterwards, and he starts crying. He's just, he's like, man, it was just so hard. So I was like, man, it was an emotional win. Okay. All right, Ray, it was emotional. Yeah, that was a big win. They beat the hell out of the Patriots the next week. They talked to Ray. He starts crying again. I said, hold on, bro. Hold on. Look, man, I know you're not going back to that well. First one I thought was real. Second one, nah, you ain't crying. They beat him by like 25 points. You're not crying again, Ray. That's when I knew the jig was up. But it was confirmed after his reaction, not even just the signing Colin Kaepernick, when Cap first came out kneeling. Mm-hmm. And Ray's response was, I've been in these streets. I've been giving back. I've been doing this. I've been doing that. It was about him and what he was doing in communities, as opposed to this man was just doing something. We're not saying you're not doing nothing, right? You do what you do.
About you.
It's not about you. But somehow he had to bring it back to what he was doing and why what Colin Kaepernick was saying or his stance was nothing new, because Ray is always giving back. And he may be giving back. That's fine. But it makes me question your intentions when all you want is the credit for what was going on. And ever since then, I've been out on Ray. Then he showed his ass numerous times since.
Yeah, I can't rock with Ray, man. I never will. I can't. I asked someone who's really, really close to the league before. Does Ray believe this stuff that he says? And I could probably pull up the text he sent me, but it was something like he does, but he used an ex. He just I'll just try to clean it up. He's just he's legitimately crazy. he's completely in his own head about all of this stuff. And you talk about him being like about me. There, I think it was from one of the trial transcripts after Ray was around when a couple of people were murdered. So if you ever want to read up on that story, go read up on it. You ain't gonna read on it on Ray. Ray put out books and he don't tell anybody about it. But the story was from people who testified, is the first thing Ray said when they got in the limo to leave was, "My career is over." That was his concern. His career is over. You got two people out there dying, like right in the middle of the street where you just left.
Right.
Still ain't found the suit that you had on that night, but you worried about your playing career. And like I said, the NFL, boy, you talk about sweeping stuff under the rug. I mean, Amy Trask always said it. They'll sign Hannibal Lecter and call it an eating disorder if they think they could. If Hannibal Lecter could get to the quarterback, they'll just say he got an eating disorder and he'll have to fix it. You kneel for the national anthem, you're gone. You kill a couple of people, we'll fine you a couple $100,000.
Yeah.
Man, was Goodell the commissioner at that time?
Nah, I'm pretty sure it was Tagliabue.
All right.
Wow. Bob, best thing I watch, we'll stay in Baltimore. We'll stay in Baltimore because Mahomes versus Lamar. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Must see TV. I'm gonna say right now, I know I'm in the minority. Maybe it had something to do with the team that he played for. But I was never as into Peyton versus Brady as everybody else was. I knew it was great. I understood what I was seeing. We're seeing two of the greatest to ever do it, and they square off. The Colts just always bore me. That's why I say maybe it's just the Colts. And I'm not really like intrigued by the Patriots either, because the Patriots aren't, at that time at least, when it was Manning versus Brady, it was more of the Patriots, not Brady out here just carving people up, right? It was the unit of the Patriots. And I just wasn't really interested in that. But you give me Mahomes versus Lamar anytime, anywhere, I'm tapped in. I talk all the time in boxing about Gervonta Davis being the best show in boxing. You guys can give me your thoughts if you can come with a better one. Mahomes versus Jackson is the best show in the NFL. That is the best show the NFL has to offer. And remember a couple of weeks ago, we were talking about Tom Brady. We were talking about the discussion they had on First Take between Tom Brady and Michael Jordan. And we talked about how Michael Jordan changed the game or whatever the case may be, and people saying that about Tom Brady. And this isn't to knock Tom Brady. It was just a situation where we said Tom Brady was like Tim Duncan. Nobody was in their backyard in Sacramento, California saying, oh, 3, 2, 1, Tim Duncan for 3. No, they weren't doing that. He was great.
Timmy!
Well, didn't nobody want to be Tim Duncan? I'm sure there's a lot of young guys out there who look at Brady the way some people looked at Montana, and they look back and say, oh, I'm going to be Montana or I'm going to be Brady. But more often than not, oh, they wanted to be Mike Vick. They was like, yo, I'm Mike Vick out here. And Lamar and Patrick Mahomes. The Lamar jump pass,
oh my gosh.
I don't know if kids still play at recess or if they play, two-hand touch at recess. Trust me, if that came out when I was in elementary school, I'm trying to jump pass today. And I'm trying to see how far I can throw it. Patrick Mahomes crosses body to Travis Kelce, taking it to the crib. I'm trying that.
So it's funny. Like, I've seen Tim Tebow at Florida do a jump pass. His was different, though. His was like a mid-range jumper. His was just like he's running, and he's kind of running up to the offensive line, and he jumps, and he just kind of like flips it over the offensive line. That ain't what Lamar did last night.
That boy threw it 20 yards down the field.
Lamar took off from the free throw and tried to and put some strength behind it. And it's funny that you say kids wanted to be Mike Vick. That's going to be retired. It's going to be Lamar.
Oh, for sure.
Lamar Jackson is the standard bearer now for running quarterbacks. Lamar Jackson. I mean, Michael Vick, I don't know if Mike Florio coined this term, but I'll give him credit. You know how much I love Russell Westbrook, king of the triple-double. Well, Lamar Jackson is king of the double-triple. He had 239 last night and 107. 239 in the air, 107 on the ground. It's the 9th time that Lamar Jackson has had a stat like that in the regular season. He's done it twice in the playoffs. That's 11 total. Already, how long Lamar Jackson been in the league? Mike Vick
4 or 5
had
years?
8.
Lamar's all-timer right now, man.
He's going to obliterate every rushing quarterback record that existed.
Yes, absolutely. And you know what? I was watching that game last night, and just a testament to Lamar and the way he was able to bounce back. Because there was a couple times I was watching with the family, and after the interception, the pick six, after the other interception, when they were like at the 20 and he throws it into triple coverage, I was like, oh, they going to be on Lamar's head, man. Because these people, they're quick to get on Lamar's head. I was like, they're going to be on him, man, because the decision-making has been questionable a couple of times. But he just bounced back and he continues to make plays. That's what he does. He continues to make plays. And he's won already, not saying he's Patrick Mahomes, because I had a tweet last night, Damien, and maybe you could tell me the same thing. I've only seen Patrick Mahomes look human on 2 occasions, and that was both Super Bowls. Other than that, I feel like I've never seen him play bad. And that's crazy. 5 years into his career, I've never seen. They have Patrick figured out. That one, no, never. And the only 2 times was the two Super Bowls. That was it.
And that's the funny thing about Lamar Jackson too, is he's not as talented of a passer as Patrick Mahomes is. But you're not going to figure him out. Like people keep thinking the clock is going to run out on Lamar Jackson, as if Lamar Jackson is some sort of fad. He's not. Like, Lamar Jackson will continue to be a great quarterback. And one thing that I think the thing that I love the most about him is the demeanor in which he plays with. Like, he doesn't come across as fake to me. Like Patrick Mahomes comes across as just like he takes everything in stride. Mm-hmm. Like he's cool with everything. But Lamar looks like he's just constantly playing with joy. And he doesn't come across as like Peyton. Peyton was the king of phoniness. And I don't mean that in a negative way, is that Peyton would talk a lot. He would give the reporters any and everything they needed. But when you go back and watch it, he's not saying anything. He's Captain Cliche. Yeah. Lamar will say whatever the hell he's thinking. And when he ended his interview with thank you, Miss Michelle, I was like, this dude. He that dude right here. Like Lamar Jackson plays the game differently and with an emotion that I don't think, and if you can name one, name him. I don't think any other quarterback in the league plays with.
No. And
I'm here for it.
And Lamar is for the culture. I told you this before. I told the family, I was like, I might have to mess around and get this number 8. I might have to get this number 8 jersey, man. Because this is a Allen Iverson for the culture type guy. This is a guy that is going to, I believe, regardless of what happens with the career, if he wins a championship or nothing, he's going to be a legend for years to come in this particular generation. Real quick, Barrett Bryce, 14, brings up a good point. He says those Super Bowl defenses had 2 weeks to prepare for Pat Mahomes. You can't prepare for him in 6 days. He may be spot on because that boy is sick, man. What a game last night. Can I give an honorary best thing I saw?
Yeah.
So shout out to our guy IO. Shout out to your godson JT. Had a birthday over the weekend. I went out to the Barling compound, and champagne and campaign with him a little bit and celebrated the birthday. When I got back home, this is some college football for you. When I got home, I saw the fourth quarter. I just want to point out because Kenny left early. So I left early. Kenny was gone. To prepare for.
Kenny was gone before the adults and the kids left, and it was just like the grown folks with the cigars outside. Boy, you missed some wild conversation. Ask Black Bottles 916. I had to end the party when my man Sean started talking crazy about hip hop. Like when my man Sean drinks, I know it's time. There are 2 measuring sticks for like, okay, it's time to shut it down. Like Sean's had a couple too many. We're gonna shut this down. The F word will be out of his mouth like every other word. That's when it's like, all right, it's Sean's hit a 2-to-1 ratio with the F word. We got to kill it. Or he'll hit you with some outlandishly crazy nonsense. Like we was out, we were on the patio. We had broken out the cigars. We were just sitting there. We was talking about music. We were the conversation that the E40 is going to join us on Friday here on D-Lo and KC. The Bay Area artist conversation got up. Then it became like Northern California versus Southern California. And somehow Kendrick Lamar got worked into a conversation with Keek the Sneak.
Oh, come on.
And it was like, all right, it's over. No, everybody go home. Like the party's over. It's done. But I say that all. I'll say just and by the way, I appreciate you coming out. That wasn't like
it's all love.
That was a different type of gathering, man.
Yeah, it was beautiful, man. It was beautiful seeing everybody get together that way, man. That was awesome.
I told Kenny, like, you family now, get used to these 30-minute toasts.
Shout out to
my man Dr. Taylor does.
Dr. Taylor.
We had it all planned. We had these videos planned for my godson. It's like, okay, it's all these people from out of town. It's about a 10-minute video. It'll give me just enough time to pour the champagne, pour the Martinellis, hand them out. We'll do the toast to JT. And Io wanted me to do the toast, but when Dr. Taylor is in that, like, you see the floor to the man. And so I was like, Dr. Taylor, you do the toast. I finally had to tell him, like, Dr. Taylor, like, we're supposed to serve the champagne cold, and I can't lie, man. This bottle's getting a little warm, man. We got to wrap this thing up. He wanted to thank everybody. I was waiting for him to thank Kenny. Like, man.
Show that love, Dr. Taylor. He the man, though. He the man for sure. I forgot what.
You left. I messed you up. You left. You went home. College football was on.
I left. After champagne and campaigning with my people, I get home at about 11. Fourth quarter of Fresno State UCLA is still going on. I'm like, oh, let me sit down here and watch this. And shout out to the Valley Champs, as they call themselves, down in the 559. Fresno State went into the Rose Bowl, took down number 13 UCLA in an epic game. This was a classic. This was a Pac-12 after dark classic. Fresno State's on the Pac-12, but you get what I'm saying. Great game. A lot of Fresno State people made the trip down to the Rose Bowl, and the quarterback from Fresno State, gutsy effort, making every play. No, what'd he say?
He was like, they was asking him, how'd the game go? How he's like, oh man, he's smiling from my body hurts all over. He's like looking around. He's like, I don't know what just happened, man. Can you believe this? I was like, man, that's as honest of a post-game interview as I've ever heard.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So shout out to Fresno State. Now ranked number 22 in the nation. Fresno State Bulldogs, man. Big ups to them. I told you to watch for that game, y'all.
You did?
I told you.
By the way,
watch out for
it. Two quick things. Tyrese Haliburton and De'Aaron Fox are speaking to the media today. We're going to have that sound for you coming up here in just a heartbeat. Two, how did the picks go this week?
I wasn't going to say nothing until about Friday. But since you want to bring it up on a Monday, once again, I told you this weekend I was going at least 2-1. Well, I had myself, as an underdog with that 2-1 because I went 3-0. I went 3-0.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I gave you, sorry, Quentin. I stuck to my
Quentin said
Cincinnati.
Quentin said, did you already place that bet?
I stuck to my guns. Cincinnati took care of Indiana. I gave you Penn State beating Auburn by more than 5. And then also, I knew Lane Kiffin was going to do what he wanted to do against Tulane. They took care of business. If you listen to me, you got paid. If you're like Scott Lee and you wanted to go against me, you had a broke-ass weekend.
Good stuff, man. I'm digging it. I like it. 3-0. Yeah. Good for you. That's a nice
man, goal. If I knew all the answers, I'd be rich. This is what it is. It's gambling. It's gambling for a reason.
You wouldn't be rich, brother. You'd be wealthy. We'll have some overreactions coming your way here in just a few minutes. We'll dive back into the 49ers as well. How about the Raiders? The Raiders 2-0 with a win against the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, man, that was a big win in Pittsburgh. I didn't think they were going to be able to get it done, but Derek Carr continues his hot start to the season. Derek Carr put some respect on his name, man. They better put some respect on that man's name.
So can't though. Not on Derek Carr. That's not the fault of Derek Carr. I'm just saying. I'm watching this Raiders team, and it's like, man, all right. This feels familiar. Why does this feel familiar? Why do I feel like I've seen this before? Oh, I did. Last year when they went 6-3, then finished the season 8-8. Oh, but that can't be it, KC. That ain't it. Oh, wait. Last year in Oakland, 6-4. Finished 7-9. I've always said Russell Wilson has won multiple first half of the season MVPs, and he falls off the second half. And I'm looking at this Raiders team thinking, this would be different. Look at the way Derek Carr is playing. They're not sneaking victories. They're playing really well. By the way, they've done it against some. Well, I don't know how good Pittsburgh is.
Yeah, Pittsburgh is starting to look funny in the light.
That's a conversation probably for later. I believe Baltimore is good.
Washed.
I think this is it for Ben. Sarah Hodges asked me that last night. I don't think Ben's going to want to go play for another team. I don't know that another team would want Ben. I think this is it for him in Pittsburgh.
Yeah. I think time to take him out the pasture.
But I was looking at this from a Raiders perspective and like, well, okay. They've had good starts to the previous 2 seasons. Why did it end poorly? And so I'm looking at this game trying to get an answer as to how could we be possibly trajecting to that same pattern. You mentioned this night. You mentioned this the first Friday when we didn't see any championship football in the opening week of the season. But you said something as much as the chat got on you about that line. You said something that stuck with me when looking at the Raiders. If the game plan is for Derek Carr to throw for 380, 400, 420 every game, you've got a problem. Because Josh Jacobs was out yesterday. You couldn't establish anything in the run. You weren't able to establish anything with Josh Jacobs running against Baltimore. You've got to get him and your running game going, because if you're just falling back, relying on Derek Carr to do this all, eventually that house of cards is going to come falling down on you. Last year being a prime example. I remember the start of the season last year, Josh Jacobs runs for damn near 100 yards. They win that first game. Like, if this is the plan, Derek Carr had a great game too. I remember thinking, now it wasn't, I don't think it was like 400 plus yards great, but it was a solid performance. I remember thinking, if that's the plan, if that's John Gruden's plan, they got something.
Yeah.
Derek Carr and Josh Jacobs, they got something. And I don't feel like that's ever been, I don't feel like they ride with that.
Yeah.
I think teams are quick to back off the run a lot quicker than they're quick to back off a pass.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially in this day and age and the way the game is played. So good for the Raiders, 2-0. Good for all those 2-0 teams out there. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, you got to be able to run the football. That's just what you got to be able to run.
We may get this theory tested sooner rather than later. Ian Rappaport just tweeted, Raiders coach John Gruden told reporters that quarterback Derek Carr, who injured his ankle Sunday, had an MRI today and thinks he'll be able to play this week. That said, Gruden called him questionable. If he thinks he'll be able to play on Monday and he's just labeled as questionable, I'm pretty confident he'll play this weekend, but now he's obviously dealing with something.
Yeah.
We'll get into some overreactions. We'll dive into the 49ers. We'll dive back into the 49ers play as well. After all, it is a 49ers Monday brought to you by Gilmore Heating, Air, and Plumbing. You get more with Gilmore. We've talked a lot about that secondary, KC, but it doesn't seem like it's been a big problem yet. Dive into that plus some overreactions coming up here on Sacramento's #1 sports station, ESPN 1320. Are they done talking yet?
Watch this quick video of Drake versus Tory Lanez in one-on-one. Drake got to pull up from super deep and shot this nasty air ball.
Who pulled up from super deep?
Drake.
Oh. Let's see if we get. How do I do this? What's the best way to do this so the chat house hears it? Let's go here.
Oh, this is a name that caught my eye. Maybe it's just the name. The 49ers will work out running backs Duke Johnson, Lamar Miller, and TJ Yeldon.
I didn't see the TJ Yeldon one.
Yeah, I feel like he could be a Kyle Shanahan type back. But I mean, I'm thinking about college TJ Yeldon. He started out okay in the pros and just flamed out, but
I got
seems like it.
Can y'all hear him? Just curious, could y'all hear that? Y'all hear De'Aaron talking or no? No, y'all can't hear it. Okay, no problem. I got you. I'm not sure that this is a Carey Live worthy press conference though. I mean, that was a pretty random question that Jason just asked him. Like, I don't know if this is one we need to go live with. I see Jesse in there. All right. Okay. Yeah. We're okay, guys. We're rolling on this. I don't think we need to carry this live.
Bryce, by the way, man, I see the kicks. I see you stunting on him, man. My bad. I ain't see that earlier. I see you, Bryce. I see you.
Bryce got some heat.
You got some little Jordans. I can't tell now, Bryce. I got, you're my man's. So, I'm gonna always keep it real with you. I can't tell if those are mids or highs. Mids or mid. You want to go high if you can. You want to go high. Now, the funny thing about that is highs, those are like $70 shoes, and they be selling them for like $170. They need to cut it out. Mm-hmm. Calm down, Jordan.
I hadn't bought anything in a while. Them Jordan them Jordan joggers I had on Saturday were heat. Oh my God. I came across those. I was like,
the Jordan patch on there. I was like, oh snap, those are the Jordans. What?
So I get here by Saturday. I ain't seen something. I ain't seen something that caught my attention like that in a while. I was like, hey now, let's get on that.
If it's all they had, then pick them up because they look good enough. So yeah, man. Look, you're talking to the wrong guy because I will pick up almost any pair of shoes. Okay, and I'll figure it out later. Those are straight though. Those are straight.
King Boss, what's happening, baby? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Kings fans, we've got you covered. De'Aaron Fox and Tyrese Haliburton speaking to the media today. I'm looking at De'Aaron right now at the podium. Looks like he just finished a workout. Tyrese already spoke to the media. Normally, we like to carry some press conferences live. We tuned into this press conference a little bit during the commercial break. I wouldn't dub this a carry live worthy press conference as the subjects are kind of random. Like there isn't a specific, like, if Miney McNair is talking to the media, we're going to carry it. If Luke Walton is speaking to the media, we're going to carry it. If there's a trade, if there's a signing, of course, we're going to carry that. I don't want to get De'Aaron Fox's thoughts on the offseason. That could get a little dicey and long with. Like the first question that we heard was from our man, Jason Anderson. He was asking something about, one of the offseason rule changes. And that was like, okay, we're rolling on it. Like we've got it in front of us, can see it here. And we'll bring you the good stuff. Yeah. Jesse will work his magic and we'll bring the good stuff to you quite along as the show rolls along here. Shoot, we're barely halfway done here on this 49ers Monday, which is brought to you by City Center Financial. Refinance today below 1.99% APR at 1-866 GO City 6.
My guy Scott Lee is in the chat now because I called him out during the pick segment because Scott, I think this is Scott Lee on Twitter. I'm pretty sure I have a good time with it. I take it as him having a good time with it as well. He was hitting me real quick, real early in the morning on Saturday when my picks were lose. He'd be like, oh, I think I should just start listening to your picks and then pick against. And that's how I'm going to make my money. But I didn't hear from Scott Lee on Saturday, if this is the same guy I'm thinking about. I didn't hear from him. So I'm just saying where he at. I'm saying I go 3-0. I don't hear from him.
I do love that he got in the chat and said, my buddy texted me that KC was clapping back.
It's all love, Scott. It's all love, big dog.
Let's get in here. Come on, man. I'm riding. Let's get into a couple of overreactions. I want to dive back into the 49ers here in just a heartbeat. They're 2-0, and we've had some concerns about a variety of positions, and I think maybe we might be a little off with some of these concerns, but we'll get to that here. Let's start with some overreactions, though. We were just giving some props to the Raiders. One of the questions was about Ben Roethlisberger. We were talking about Ben Roethlisberger, so I ask you this. This is Ben Roethlisberger's last season?
I think so.
Yeah, I don't think that's an overreaction either. I think he's out of here.
Well,
yeah, I think he's out.
Great career. Won a couple of Super Bowls, right? Or just one?
Yeah. No, he won a couple.
Yeah, Hall of Fame career. It's over.
Yeah, I think it was almost over this year. I think he was just shades away from being done, but not so much. Let's go. Let's bring the 49ers here with you. I don't think that's an overreaction at all. Let's bring the 49ers back for this. And I'm confident. I'm very, very confident in what your reaction will be. Barring injury, we won't see Trey Lance start a game this season.
I think that's accurate. Like you said, barring injury. I think that's accurate. I say that because I expect the 49ers to be a good team, have a good record, and I expect Jimmy to play well.
Mm-hmm.
Well to really good, right? Like I just don't see him. I don't see him having a string of bad games. I don't see the Niners losing enough to make that change. Like I said, if they're 7-2, 6-2, hell, 8-3, whatever the case may be, why would you do it?
Yeah, I don't think it's an overreaction either. But I don't know that Jimmy's going to stay healthy the entire year. And that doesn't mean something catastrophic could happen. Like we just read John Gruden talking about Derek Carr. Sprained ankle. He's questionable. He feels solid that he's going to play, but it could be as simple as, hey, it's sprained ankle, needs an extra day off.
Yeah.
Sprained ankle on a Friday, needs to miss the week. Get banged up on a Sunday game and you got a Thursday game ahead. Like there's a variety of scenarios in which Trey Lance would get out on the field, but I don't know that he's starting a game this year. We've got a tale of two Jameis Winstons.
Oh.
Overreaction. Jameis Winston is closer to the player we saw in week 2 versus the player we saw in week 1.
Oh, that's tough. That's tough, man.
That offense could not get going yesterday.
Yeah, they were struggling.
He threw 2 terrible interceptions. Just awful. And didn't have the yards that he had, didn't have the accuracy that he had, certainly didn't have the touchdowns that he had, didn't have the mistake-free game that he had. None of that. Just bad. Bad in week number 2.
I'm going to say that he's more the person that we saw in week 2 because I'm not sneezing at 5 touchdowns, but he wasn't that impressive in week 1.
He was mistake-free in week 1.
He was mistake-free. I don't think he's going to be mistake-free. So it'll be one thing if he was he had that game and he was, slinging it all over the place, had 250 to 350 yards or something like that with the 5 touchdowns. Then it'd be one thing. But he threw for like 183 in the win, in a blowout win. He threw for 111.
Yeah.
I'm laughing because I just watched the interception.
Oh my gosh. That's Tampa Bay Jameis. Like right there, it's like, no, bro, you can't be that. You can't. It's so bad. It's so bad. But give him credit in week 1 though. He was 14 to 20. You mentioned the 148 yards, 5 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. He was operating on a short field a lot because of the way that the defense was playing. Because of the fact Aaron Rodgers was out there making mistakes. Like, hey,
he gets credit for that. And I'm probably, I don't like the Barry Jameis. I've been fooled, kind of continue to be. I think he's too talented, right? But
dude, we've been saying that for a long time.
Yeah.
We've been saying that for a long time. At some point, we wrong.
At some point, you are who you are. Yeah.
I feel like I don't think that's an overreaction. I feel like he's closer to that quarterback we saw in week 2 because that interception that you just watched and started laughing at, dude, how many times have we seen that?
Too many.
That is like the Jameis Winston. They got a Philly special. That's the Jameis Winston special right there.
Look at this. Come on, man.
I don't know what he's doing, man. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know what he's thinking. But that was a brutal.
The killer about
play.
that one as well is, as I look at it, it was let me see. I think this was like a second down. They were trying to get some kind of scores going into the half. It's terrible. Just a terrible, terrible decision. Tragic.
Here's one for you. Tom Brady will win his 4th MVP this season.
It's not, I mean, I'm going to go, I don't really know what to say here, but we'll say that's an overreaction. He's going to have a pretty damn good season, though. I think the season's going to be great. I just feel
9 passing touchdowns through 2 games. That's a career best, tied for the 2nd most in NFL history, behind Jermaine's Patrick Mahomes.
He's gonna have a good season. Now, I would make the argument off top that he's probably playing 2 of the worst defenses in the game, in the Cowboys and the Falcons to start the season at home. So, yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
As we like to say here on D-Lo and KC, the Falcons are terrible.
Falcons actually tried to climb back in that thing yesterday.
They tried.
Got to 28-25. And then Brady
tried.
quickly came back down and scored a touchdown.
They tried. And that was fine. How is Leonard Fournette rushing for more yards than some of these prime backs in the NFL right now? He only had 52, but it feels like Tampa's been more committed to getting Leonard Fournette involved than some of these other teams have been committed to getting their primary running backs involved. By the way, we saw a little bit of action from Ezekiel Elliott. Now, he wasn't the best running back on the Dallas Cowboys roster yesterday, but you give Zeke the ball a little bit, he can make something happen.
Yeah, man. Big ups to Zeke trying to get back on the on the good foot. I'm not going to give the Cowboys a big ups for winning. I ain't going to do that.
That's a good win for them.
Okay.
Dak didn't have to throw the ball 50 times. You got Tony Pollard out there. Tony Pollard, by the way, making $700,000 this year.
Man.
And you got Ezekiel Elliott making, I think, $15 million.
Zeke ran the ball pretty well, though. 16 for 71. That's good stuff. And they ran the ball 31 times on the game.
That's it.
All right. They ran the ball for 31 times for 198 yards on the ground. I'm not going to call it champ. That's winning football right there. It's winning football. Dak was accurate, 23 of 27. So that's more so what the Cowboys need. Now, 31 times, maybe I'm not even, because I know they got this great quarterback. So you don't have to run for 31 times. Maybe you drop back and throw 31 times and you're running 27 times, 25 times. Maybe you do something like that. But what they had in week 1, that's not going to get it done. What was it, like 58 passes and 11 rushes or something like that?
It's awful. Yeah. It was awful. Yeah. But give them credit for that win. You like the Chargers, don't you?
Yeah, I thought the Chargers were going to win. That was a big win for the Cowboys to get that done on the road. Although there were
I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
You guys couldn't see me on the radio. I was putting quotation marks up when I said,
man.
The Cowboys were in the house.
That was as comfortable as Cowboy Nation is going to feel. They can hurt it. Brandon Staley was trying to downplay it, but they heard it, and they better get used to it because that's the way it's going to be in Los Angeles.
Hey, but didn't Jerry Jones look so happy in his new stadium?
Yes, he did.
He looked like proud parent. Yes, I made this happen. Look what I did.
Jerry's opening up a lot of stadiums this year. Did they show him in attendance? Was he at the Raider game? I got to imagine he was.
Nah,
I got to imagine he was in. I got to imagine he was in Rodgers' suite.
It's feasible. They played on a Monday. The Cowboys played on Thursday, but I didn't see him there.
He's got to open his new stadiums.
He's so happy.
Got stadiums all over the place
in LA. Looked pretty cool at SoFi too.
It looked great
during the day. You know what I mean? With the sunlight coming in, sunlight beaming in. Pretty cool.
That's it for overreactions this week, though I'm sure we'll overreact to a number of other things as the days roll along here, heading into the 49ers' next game against Green Bay.
Not so fast, my friend.
Oh.
We still have one. I don't know if I want to necessarily call it an overreaction.
Okay.
I just want to give a score. Titans 33, Seahawks 30. Make it extended.
It's out the season, man.
Hey, any NFC West fans, raise your hand if you're undefeated right now. 12s, put your little hands down.
Can I ask you something?
Absolutely.
Do you ever look at that thing I work on all morning? Do you ever just like take a glance at it and say, what we're going to do today? I think Kenny wakes up and go, it's a Monday. The 49ers win. I got this.
Absolutely. I look at it. That was a freestyle, though. We were talking about scores.
Scroll down a little bit.
Wait a minute. Whoa.
Just scroll down a little bit. We've talked about.
See, I did not see that. No, I did not see that. That's my fault.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about Seattle. Or not necessarily about Seattle. Let's talk about that NFC West, because you talk about raise your hand if your team's undefeated. Well, Cardinals can put their hands up.
Yeah.
Rams fans can put their hands up. 49ers fans can put their hands up. It's just the Seahawks that lost in pretty exciting fashion with the Tennessee walk-off. By the way, is there a man? Derrick Henry is ridiculous, man. He had a touchdown run yesterday that was just like no other player in the league could make.
To be that big and that fast, that's crazy, man.
Absurd. When you talk about, he's just different, dude. He is just so different. But Tennessee gets that win, and now that leaves the Seahawks with the lone loss, and everything that I think we've said leading into the season is amplified. And I still feel good about it, about the NFC West being the toughest division in the NFL. You're listening to D'Lo and Casey on ESPN 1320 KIFM, West Sacramento, KRXQ, HD2 Sacramento, and Odyssey Station, and driven by Lashers, Elk Grove, Dodge. We're live on Twitch. We're live on YouTube. That's twitch.tv/ESPN1320. YouTube.com/ESPN1320. Of course, you can listen on the Odyssey app and 1320 AM as well. De'Aaron Fox and Tyrese Haliburton spoke to the media today. We'll bring you some sound bites from that here as the show continues. Of course, we'll continue to talk a lot about the 49ers as well, including what 2-0 team surprises you the most. That's all on the way. But I know you're not big on the Cardinals, but Kyler Murray, again, really impressive. They win. Seattle loses in exciting fashion. Arizona wins in exciting fashion. And I look at Arizona and I have some of the same concerns that I had about the Las Vegas Raiders. We saw the Cardinals start the season off well last year, and we saw it die down. You called it last year. You said they're not going to be able to maintain this. They're not going to be able to maintain this. They're not going to be able to maintain this. They weren't able to maintain it. Yeah. Here we are, and they're off to, another really good start.
Well, they're another team that, and look, this isn't a rule. Like, it doesn't have to be this way. But as the season goes along, if you cannot run the football, it's going to be hard for you to maintain whatever success you may have had in September. And Kyle Murray was phenomenal yesterday. 400 yards in the air, some dynamic plays, 3 touchdowns. He was big time. But they're going to have to be able to run the ball a little more effectively than what I've seen so far. They've been good, but I think that was their Achilles heel last season, being able to run the ball. And then defensively, I mean, I don't know what's going on with their corners. The same thing in Seattle. I don't know what's going on with their corner. Seattle was up 24-9, I think, at one point in that game in the second half, and weren't able to bring it on home because they couldn't stop anybody. I mean, not a lot of people stopped Derrick Henry, but they couldn't stop him, and they couldn't stop Tannehill from slinging the ball around. So,
say that sentence again, just so I heard you correctly.
They couldn't stop Tannehill.
Man,
from slinging the ball around.
That's not a knock on Tannehill. That's just not. I mean, he had 347 yards yesterday. He had the big boy do all of the scoring work on the ground, man. But he was able to move that team down the field.
And this was in Seattle, a place where 3-4 years ago you would never think that you can go in there and win. Now, the last couple of years, people go in there and win at the drop of a dime. It's nothing to go into Seattle anymore.
Okay, bonus overreaction. NFC West has 3 of the top 4 teams in the conference.
3 of the top 4 teams in the conference. That is
Bucks.
not an overreaction.
Give Bucks the top team in the conference.
That's not an overreaction at all. I mean, hell, Damian, like, I have a good time. I laugh at it. But like I said, I have jokes, but when it's time to be serious, I can be serious. They probably got 4 of the top 5. Probably got 4 of the top 5.
Really? Seattle too. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Seattle is not
interesting
as bad as I initially thought. Now, the thing that worried me about Seattle, or worried, I could care less, couldn't care less about their failings. The thing that I had hesitancy on was defensively. I just don't think they're very good, and they can be had on the defensive end, and that reared its ugly head yesterday. And I just think that's what's going to happen for the majority of the season. Their cornerbacks aren't it, but Russell Wilson, DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, they've got weapons on the offensive end. They're going to be able to put up points for the most part, at least in September, because that's when Russell Wilson does it. So
343 and 2 touchdowns yesterday.
Right now, I think the NFC West has 4 of the best 5 teams in the NFC.
Wow. It's amazing, too, given the tone of our conversation. We've talked about this with the 49ers. We'll talk more about it. We just talked about it with the Raiders, the Cardinals as well. Now the Seahawks. These teams haven't – well, the 49ers certainly ran the ball well in week 1, not necessarily in week number 2. But those other teams not necessarily running the ball well. Then you look at a team like Tennessee, where you've got the ultimate running back there, like a guy who you can – like legitimately put in the MVP conversation and have like a lot of validity to it. And it's difficult to put anybody that's not a quarterback into the position. You can never put a wide receiver in the MVP conversation because they're always just going to look at all of the yards that the quarterback is throwing and touchdowns and all of these other wide receiver stats. They're going to go directly to the quarterback. But with a running back, you look at what Derrick Henry's doing and how, when you get into January, when you get into late December, when you get into January, how are the Titans not going further?
I think it would be because
how do people not believe that the Titans will go further?
I think it's the defense. They can't defend. They can't stop anybody. Made a couple stops when they needed to yesterday, though.
I guess you also have to go through Lamar and Patrick Mahomes too to get to the ultimate.
Yeah, and then the Tennessee, from what I've seen so far and from what I've heard, they ain't stopping Baltimore. They're not stopping Kansas City. They're not stopping Buffalo.
Buffalo, huh? Well, Buffalo got them some yesterday. Yeah, Buffalo got them some yesterday, but it was almost not fair. I mean, the Dolphins they were a disaster yesterday. Tua Tagovailoa, one of the many injuries coming out of week number 2. We'll run some of those down here in just a couple of minutes. With all of the flaws that that the 49ers have, and then running back that you say that they are possibly 4 of the top 5 teams in the NFC are in the NFC West. Are you comfortable enough with the 49ers flaw? I mean, I'm not going to ask you to project to December or January. Are you comfortable enough with the 49ers flaws to feel like as the season rolls along, they can stay in this position?
Yeah, for sure.
Because they haven't had flaws. They do have flaws. We just haven't had to dive too deep into them because they've won games. Hell, I heard people say this morning that they were unhappy with the way they won.
Oh, there's a lot of that going on. And people need to calm down with that.
That's a wild sentiment.
Yeah, they need to calm down with that. The 49ers at 2-0, winning 2 road games is impressive to me. The way the defense played yesterday, extremely impressive. We talk about the secondary and how that's going to be a little bit of an issue. But as long as they have Fred Warner, who is the straw that stirs the drink. He was the best player on the field for both teams yesterday. He was phenomenal. As long as they have him, as long as they have two veterans at the top of that secondary, and Jimmy Ward and Jaquiski Tartt. They've seen it all, done it all. They know where everything's supposed to go. They know where everybody is supposed to be. As long as they have those two guys there, along with Fred Warner, I think they'll be all right. There's going to be games where they struggle to stop the pass and, stop offenses or things like that. That's life. Like there's like one or two teams maybe each year who just go through the year giving up 13 points per game. The majority of the rest of the teams in the league, they have games where they struggle. So that's going to happen. But the veteran leadership of Warner, Ward, and Tartt to go along with if Emmanuel Mosley can come back and Lenore learning the game and learning the league along the way to go along with his talent, I think they'll be all right. I think they'll be fine. I think that defense is going to be a lot better than people are giving it credit for.
Well, they got a defensive player of the year candidate on that roster that we need to talk about. And we're getting updates on some of the injuries from yesterday. We'll give you those as well. Tyrese Haliburton and De'Aaron Fox spoke to the media. We will run that sound back for you. We got lots more ahead here on this 49ers Monday, brought to you by Gilmore Heating, Air, and Plumbing. You get more with Gilmore, and you get more with D'Lo and KC coming up here on Sacramento's #1 sports station, ESPN 1320. It's all good. It's all good.
Hey, what's going on, man? 13th round with your main man, Kenny Caraway. And we got a couple of different things going on. We got people talking, Ryan Garcia, JoJo Diaz. We got a fight this weekend with Anthony Joshua and Usyk going at it. But before we get into the world of boxing for the rest of the week, I had to take this Monday out because Manny Pacquiao has confirmed that he's retiring from boxing at the age of 42 following his defeat of Yordenis Ugas about a month ago. And he leaves the sport of boxing as an 8-weight world championship across 4 different decades. That's insane. Y'all didn't hear what I said. 8-weight class world champion. And he fought for 4 different decades, the 90s, 2000s, the 10s, and the 20s. One of the greatest boxers of all time. One of the greatest careers we've ever seen in the sport of boxing. Manny Pacquiao is a true one of one. And I got to be honest with you. I don't think we ever see anything in my lifetime like we saw from Manny Pacquiao. To be as great as he was, to climb the ranks the way he did in his career. One of the greats. One of the absolute greats. And not only that, he was must-see TV. There was a good 10-year period where you had to watch a Manny fight. It was great. He was phenomenal. And he was never the best, like a lot of people say. You talk about him versus Floyd at the time. I mean, Floyd would have done what he did to him at any point in time. But Manny fought everybody, never backed down from a challenge, never backed down from a fight, except for when he had to do some blood testing. But that's neither here nor there. Other than that, he fought everybody. Then as he got older into his career, he absolutely fought everybody. So respect to one of the greats to ever do it. Manny Pacquiao, what a great career. Good luck in your race to be president of the Philippines. That's the 13th round. I was just about to say, Jesse, you doing all right in there? Oh, you would have hated that 13th round. Well, today's not the day. Today's not the day. I have the same thoughts, reservations about Manny Pacquiao. Today's his retirement day. Today's not the day. Oh, Manny. Yeah, David. Yeah, Tiafimo. guy's a clown. I'm gonna talk about. He's a weirdo. His dad. If you listen to him and his dad are the same. Yeah, listening to his pops and led him astray.
Get off my Wi-Fi real quick.
Okay. That. CJ, when the 49ers ran off 3 L's in a row, what you want me to do? Be happy? Is that the same energy? You want me to be happy?
Yes, indeed. On Twitch, on YouTube, on 1320 AM, and of course on the Odyssey app, where we've got new Odyssey exclusive stations that are curated for sports listeners like you. You'll also find your favorite artist on Odyssey 2 on the all-new artist radio stations. Check out the new Odyssey exclusive stations on the Odyssey app, brought to you in part by Macy's, Geico, and Coke Zero Sugar. And check out the person that you said was the best Bay Area hip-hop artist ever, E40, joins D'Lo and KC coming up this Friday at 3:20. So make your plans to be with us again. E40, Fonzarelli.
The ambassador of the Bay.
You already know what it is. On the days before the home opener on a 49ers Friday.
Let's go. That Friday going to be crazy. That Friday's going to be crazy right now. I'm telling you that right now. Friday's going to be crazy.
We're working on getting another artist on the show too. I was talking to Black Bottles 916 on Saturday night about it. But it would be we had a powwow. It's a returning artist rather than a new artist. We don't need to beat around the bush. We're trying to get Rick Ross on the show again. We had been planning to get Wiz Khalifa on the show for a while. And Ben was like, listen, man, Wiz is great. He was like, it's hit or miss. Like, we've done this stuff before. Like, it could be tough. Your best bet is like, I was like, yo, let's get Rick again. Let's see if Rick will come on. We'll talk about the book.
Yeah.
We'll talk about a book, get an update on the album. And, we know that's a home run. Like, it'd be great to have Wiz on, but it's only great if Wiz want to do it. Like Rick wanted to do it. Like, if Wiz doesn't want to do it, it ain't going to be no good.
Yeah.
And if Wiz is dipped into the stash, it really ain't going to be no good. So, if we can get Rose on here, we be in really good shape. But we got E40 for sure. Confirmed.
Yes, indeed.
Coming up on Friday at 3:20.
Yeah. Also, man, want to give a shout out to McQueen, because I had me some good McQueen over the weekend. We got the bottles and the Luke Belair and, and the Bamboo and the Vaillon. All that is great. But I realized I hadn't really had any McQueen in about a month or so. And boy, I have me some gin and juice. Oh man, McQueen be unmatched, boy. That stuff is bomb.
It really is. I had some McQueen with like the crew brought over like Sprite. So I have like Sprite in my house. I was like, yo, I bet this would be dope. And it in fact was. It was fantastic. I never have. I'm sure people are like, yeah, that's the obvious one. I never have like Sprite in my house, but there's
I never have soda and alcohol though.
You what?
I never have soda and alcohol.
Oh, okay. You have never have soda and alcohol in the house, or you never have them together?
Together as a drink. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm about to try that now.
We did a lot on Saturday. The trash situation in the back of the house is bad. Like, I went back there today. I was like, oh my God. Because I thought I was taking all the trash out. It turns out I was not the only person taking the trash out. And so when I went back, not only is the trash full, trash don't get here till Friday. Trash man don't come till Friday. Not only is the trash like full, there's 2 bags sitting on top of the yard clippings trash container. Geez. So I'm like, Diddy, at the end of victory, what am I do now? It's all messed up now. And I dropped the bag in there, and all I heard were bottles. I went and looked in the refrigerator, and
whew. Yeah, it bees like that.
Other than these bottles behind me, there ain't a black bottle left in this house. Somehow the blue survived, but there ain't a black bottle left in this house. They gone. Everybody was on that rosé. Boy, they love them some rosé.
Bro, that stuff is bomb. It really is good. I know you're a Lux guy.
Mm-hmm.
But that rosé, boy, I love that.
Yeah, I'm a Lux guy for sure. So 49ers Monday brought to you by City Center Financial. Refinance today below 1.99% APR. GoCityCenter.com. That's the website. GoCityCenter.com. Offensive line, secondary. Two position groups that we've talked a lot about. By the way, I don't know if I mentioned this. Tyrese Haliburton and De'Aaron Fox spoke to the media. We'll have that sound coming up for you here this hour. Offensive line, defensive secondary. Those are two concerns that we had headed into the season with the San Francisco 49ers. 2 games in, 2-0. They've lost the starting cornerback. As a matter of fact, they didn't lose him, but Emmanuel Mosley didn't even play in week 1. Jason Verrett never played in week 2. The secondary that we thought, hey, can't get injured, never actually played together. But it doesn't feel like it's been a massive problem. Those two position groups, we'll start with the secondary. Are you careful how I say this?
I'm okay with the secondary. I'm okay.
Comfortable?
I'm comfortable. Ironically enough, I know we saw him twice yesterday, Josh Norman, with pass interferences. The first one was
I think it was back-to-back calls, wasn't it?
No, it was separate. He got one on the Eagles' first possession on the third down. That's the one I didn't like. I was like, they were going back and forth. There's a lot of hand wrestling back and forth. I thought he got a clean stop. The second one was part of that goal line stand. I think it was like second down. He grabbed Devontae Smith in the end zone and got it there. But that was kind of it. And I know, like, we're not expecting him to be Josh Norman Island. Like, he's not going to just shut down. He's going to have his moments where he gives up a pass or he has a penalty. But that was it. I would say Josh Norman was good in his 49er debut. Can I say good? He's all right.
He wasn't bad. So,
no. But if he got 2 PIs, I don't know. I got to look at the snap count. But if he got 2 PIs and that's all you heard from him all day, I think that's pretty good.
Sure.
Let's just say he was out there for 30 snaps. I don't know.
And they weren't catastrophic penalties either.
No, one was suspect.
They turned out not to be.
Yeah, one was suspect. The second one, I thought that was a PI. But if he was out there, let's just say 40 snaps, and you only heard his name twice, I think that's a good day for somebody that was on the couch a couple weeks ago.
Right.
So I one thing that I spoke to you about it before the break, Ward and Tart and Fred Warner, that little triangle that you have right there with your middle linebacker and your 2 safeties. I just think that's the heart and soul of what this 49ers defense could be. And those guys, I'm confident they will keep them from being a bad defense. They won't be a bad defense. They're going to have their moments where it's going to be a struggle or it's going to be a bad matchup and, they'll get burned or whatever the case may be. But we saw it a couple times yesterday. Jalen Hurts, he got the one on Lenore when they were backed up at the 3-yard line or something like that. But Jalen tried to go up top a few different times. And Ward, Tart, Lenore, they were there every single time. They were ready for it all. And once again, we're playing the percentages. If Jalen Hurts gets you 1 time out of 4, going deep, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. So I'm okay with the secondary.
Okay. And Jalen Hurts didn't have the game in week 2 that he had in week 1. And maybe that's a credit to the secondary. Maybe that's a credit to the front 7. Because I said that this team, the San Francisco 49ers, has a defensive player of the year candidate on their roster, and that's 97. Like the plays he was making yesterday, like sometimes you need to see it to be reminded. I mean, we all remember the year he was healthy. He was great. And you talk about defense. I know Chase Young was a popular pick for defensive player of the year, and I think it's because a lot of people like that Washington football team defense heading into the season, and that's fine. I'm a Chase Young guy. I like it. Good solid pick right there. But watching Nick Bosa yesterday was a reminder, man, this dude can change the complexion of the game. And I wonder how much of what he's able to do with you, Manfred Warner, that you were talking about right there, is affecting the secondary in a positive way. Yeah. Now, it could also be Jared Goff and Jalen Hurts. We're not naive to the quarterbacks that they were playing, and we're not naive to the quarterback that they got coming up on Sunday night at Levi Stadium in Santa Clara. Yeah. He's going to be a little bit different than Jalen Hurts. He's going to be a little bit different than Jared Goff was in week 1. He's going to have the ability to open up a little bit and get down the field. But that ability will be limited with Nick Bosa. That ability will be limited with the way that the 49ers front line has played, in my opinion. Now, of course, I could be here on Monday apologizing to you and being the sole reason that Aaron Rodgers throws for 450 yards because of that stupid-ass remark I just made right there. But I believe a lot in this, secondary. We could talk about the sketchiness of that. We'll get to the offensive line here in a minute. But that front seven, I think, is helping those guys, Josh Norman, and the rotating guys at cornerbacks who have had to be there through the first 2 weeks. I think he's helping them get comfortable. I think that front seven, led by Nick Bosa, is helping them get comfortable.
97 is an absolute game changer, like you talked about. He's a guy that has to be accounted for on every single play. Mm-hmm. And he's a guy that if you get into the danger zone, it feels like
danger zone,
and the Macho Man, Damian's Macho Man is always going to make me chuckle, like forever and ever. But when you get in situations like we saw yesterday with Philadelphia, where they were down 17-3 or they were down 14-3, you're in a 3rd and long, you're in a passing situation. And 97 knows that's all I have to worry about is coming to getting the quarterback. That's when he shines. That's when he's dangerous. And I think off the top of my head, you're always aware of him if you're an opposing offensive coordinator or a quarterback. You're always funneling what you do away from him. But he had 2 plays off the top of my head that were game changers. He had the strip sack to start the 3rd quarter. And then he had another sack late in the game when I don't want to say it closed the door on the game because it was still very much in the balance before Jimmy got the quarterback sneak. But there was a drive after they put it up. They got it to 17-3 where I was at the house doing my best LeBron. I was like, one more stop. Not one more because it'd be
broken wrist and all. One more.
Not because it'd be impossible for the Eagles to come back. But the time would have made it very difficult. And I just needed a stop right there at 17-3. And Bosa felt the same way probably when it was time to go get the quarterback. He went and got the quarterback. Simple as that. So, I got to put $1 in the jar here.
Yeah, we both did it. Yeah, we both did it. I love that the chat has picked up on the 97 vibe. And anytime we say Bosa, we got to put $1 in the swear jar. How about this from our man Jay Korb? D Ford in 97 on the field is a different vibe.
It is.
And I know you were hesitant to talk about this. You were hesitant to, kind of sink into the thought of D Ford playing this year because
I didn't want to get hurt again.
Well, we were rooting for D Ford's retirement last year. And here we are being reminded of
it was with love, D, by the way. It was with love.
Yes, no financial concerns at all. We were definitely not thinking about that. But Jay Corb's right, man. It's different with those guys out there.
It is, and
it's a reminder. Like, hey, man, D4 is really good.
Having those
when he's on a football field, he's really freaking good.
He is, man, and having those two out there together on both sides. It's game changing, man. It really is. And we talk about forgetting guys and giving people their proper due. Number one, Kentavious Street, he was jumped off the TV screen to me yesterday. He had some big moments. But number one, welcome back, Big 99, Javon Kinlaw. He looked like a game changer out there with what they were trying to do with stopping the run. I know they had a lot of running yards as a team, but that was because Jalen Hurts ran. I think he ran for 100 yards, or ran for 82 yards. So that had a lot to do with it. But as far as like gashing this team on the ground, Javon Kinlaw helped with being able to stop that. And then one of the big plays in the game, that blocked field goal. And he just went up and jumped and got that was crazy to see a man that size jump that high and block the kick the way he did. So he was a game changer. But when you talk about being fair, come on, man, let's be fair here. Because this is a guy that's not on our show, right? Not on our show, but is it safe to say much maligned when you talk about number 91?
Is he?
In some situations, he is. On our show, we just like, look, man, we ain't gonna. It's a different type of box. We ain't gonna dive too deep into that. But much maligned by some. Got to be fair.
Yeah.
Eric Armstead.
Yeah.
Is second in the NFL right now in pressure rate at 28.2%.
I didn't know. So I know we've been asking for more.
Yeah, we always I ask for more. A lot of people in the 49ers fan base ask for more, and we say, hey, Eric, you got this contract. We need him to do more, and they're on his head when it's looking funny in the light. But so far through 2 games, he's doing a great job. Even if it's not resulting in sacks, so to speak, his job is to put pressure on the quarterback, and I think this is a PFF stat. He's producing at a pretty high rate. 28.2% is second in the league for pressure rate. So got to give him his flowers while we're here too.
Pro Football Focus always posts that stuff you can't see.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh,
some of it is like, what are you even talking about?
Yeah.
Okay? Like this don't even make no damn sense. And you want to be like he's number 1 and this and that. Some of it is that, but pressures is something that we can see.
They do that stuff a lot. They do that stuff a ton. Man, there were some injuries yesterday that we're slowly getting some updates on. We had mentioned Lamar Miller coming in for a workout. Who's the other running back that's coming in for a workout?
TJ, well, somebody I saw Schefter. He didn't report this, but I saw somewhere else that TJ Yeldon was going to be coming in, former Alabama star.
Duke Johnson also coming in there. Those running backs are getting visits with the San Francisco 49ers. We saw TJ Watt go down yesterday. We haven't gotten an update on him. Tyrod Taylor looks like he's a week-to-week decision. He was taken out yesterday. By the way, this Deshaun Watson thing is getting – the Texans – this whole thing is getting silly. Like, why not just say he's not playing this year? Like, they literally lost their starting quarterback. And they're still – Deshaun Watson's already been ruled out. No, he's not playing. But they keep doing this week-to-week gimmick, and now you've got Tua Tagovailoa dealing with the rib injury. Now, Tua isn't even ruled out for next week. He's labeled as a day-to-day, week-to-week injury.
Yeah.
Miami had been the team who was so closely associated. I think Philadelphia was another team that was so closely associated with the Deshaun Watson deal. The NFL, not that this should be a surprise, the NFL are like, they're cowards. Like what's the deal? And I feel like what Roger Goodell would say is, well, he hasn't been punished. He's, the Texans are making the decision that's best for them. So you'd be cool if Deshaun Watson went out there and played quarterback. Like, none of this is adding up and none of this is making sense. Like and maybe you don't want to win games. I don't know what it is, but you literally have a guy out there on your field who could help you win football games, or at least a guy in your jersey who could help you win football games, and you're just rolling him out week to week. Maybe it's an agreement between the Texans and Deshaun Watson. Right. Hey, you're not going to play this year, but you're going to get your $10 million. Shoot, say that. But carrying this on week to week is going to be a bit silly. It's gotten old already.
I don't need the Schefter tweet every week. I really don't. Or whoever they're locking for. Like, just unless he is acting. And you know what? That's a little ridiculous on my end. What is a tweet gonna? That doesn't hurt me that they're tweeting out he's inactive. It's not doing anything to me. So maybe that's a little bit of an exaggeration on my part. But like you said, like the charade, it needs to stop. It needs to stop. Come on.
Andy Dalton, Justin Fields sighting.
Oh, God.
Justin Fields sighting. Andy Dalton went down with an injury. Of course, this wasn't a Matt Nagy decision because it's too smart to be a Matt Nagy decision. It was by default that Justin Fields wound up with there. John Bull texted me, it's Justin Fields time. And it was like, man, I'm going to need Justin Fields to show out because we've been talking about him a lot. We're going to need him to go out there and do something so we don't look silly. He didn't. But the Bears won. So you got that. The Bears get the win, but it looks like we could be seeing Justin Fields moving forward for the Chicago Bears after the Andy Dalton injury.
Well, I don't want Andy to be hurt, but I mean, I'm excited to see Justin Fields get an opportunity. So
I know you're sidetracked by the chat, so let's just go ahead and give Blake McMahon the attention that he's freaking begging for.
Well,
Blake is in the
talk to Blake.
Blake is in the chat over on twitch.tv/ESPN1320 and youtube.com/ESPN1320. Again, he's begging for attention. He needs a hug today. Let's give him the hug that he desperately needs. He's in the camp of the 49ers haven't beaten anybody. Why is this even a big deal? They're 2-0 against two bad teams.
Also,
they're 2-0.
Let's not discount typical Raider fan. This is probably the third Raider fan that is coming here today and made this argument. Niner fans ain't even said nothing about the Raiders being 2-0. Just, hey, that's good. That's dope. Raider fan, you're not playing nobody. First of all, I don't care. We could play the Lions for 17 straight weeks. And if it means that we go 17-0 and we get into the playoffs, I could care less, right? Number two, I'm not saying that this is going to be the same outcome, the same result. I'm not saying that. But we already starting to sound much like the Blakes. Shout out to my man Alfonso. I saw him in here too. That's my guy for real. So it's good. But the Blakes, the Alfonsos, I feel like I heard a lot of the same things in 2019 after they beat the Bucks, after they beat the Bengals, after they beat the Browns. You ain't played nobody. You ain't played no. You 4-0. You ain't played no. All right. Hey, I don't know what's going to happen next week. Hopefully we win. Humble hearts. I'm just glad we're 2-0.
All you've done is played the two teams on the schedule.
That's
what you do. And in the NFL, like 17 games, just win them. That's it. How many games? Hey, we got this stupid D'Lo and KC Pick'em League going on. I was trying to do the math before the show. No, it's trash. I was trying to do the math before the show, and I couldn't count this high because pretty much every one-score game, every walk-off, every last-second drive, I've picked the team that's lost. Damn near across the board. And we're talking about wins and losses, and we're talking about teams that you played in the Yo, take the wins when you can get them. Whether you're in a pick'em league, whether you're doing KC's picks every week, or you're a fan of a football team.
I'm going to take the
beat the Steelers. I think the Steelers are trash. Who cares? Raiders are 2-0. I don't think the Eagles are trash. I feel how I feel. I don't think the Lions are very good. I think the Eagles are far from trash. I think they're going to be competing with the Cowboys for the division. Again, that doesn't necessarily mean they're good, but they're not trash. I don't care. 49ers are 2-0.
And people,
they could have won that game 12-11. It don't matter.
Don't care. I don't care. Now, Blake wants me to hit the laugh track button. Now you just sound ridiculous. Why would I do that? The Raiders won.
I told you, man.
I gave them props. You know what I mean?
Just needs attention.
Did we or did we not give the Raiders props? I thought they were going to lose on Sunday.
Derek Carr all the props in the world.
I said, man, I thought they were going to lose. They came out. That was a big win for them. I said at the beginning of the season numerous times, I said the Raiders got a shot to make the playoffs. I like what they bring to the table. So I don't know. Raider fans, they just stay in their feelings about the 49ers. But
I don't think that's Raider fans. I just think that's my man Blake, who's I think he's hurting too. Is it?
It's Raider fans. Yeah.
Okay.
We don't even think about the Raiders. They stay on our line about something. But it's whatever. It's all good. It's just part of the rivalry here in Northern California. I enjoy it. I'll enjoy it a lot more.
Northern California and Nevada, I guess.
But
it's weird.
I saw Blake, but I wasn't even really paying him no mind. What did have my attention is, I don't know if you saw this story, and this is just going to be what the NFL sports is going to be. Eagles tight end Zach Ertz tested positive for COVID-19 per Transaction Wire. Ertz is vaccinated, so there's at least a chance he could be cleared in time to play next Monday night against the Cowboys with no symptoms and 2 negative tests for 24 hours apart. Do you know who did the jersey swap yesterday?
Oh, no.
Zach
Ertz
Ertz
him and Kittle? Yes. Oh, no.
So,
oh, no.
Yeah.
Burn the jersey, George. Burn the jersey. Oh, man. Burn the jersey.
Yeah. So I don't know what the hell is going to happen there. I mean, hell, Zach Ertz was blocking Eric Armstead and Nick Bosa and Fred Warner for 3 hours yesterday.
And we're concerned about a jersey. We're worried about the jersey swap. We'll come back. The Giants, the San Francisco Giants. Hey, man, they keep me hanging on. That's their 1-game lead over the Dodgers.
Barry Horowitz.
Okay. All right.
Didn't I say on Friday? I said we're going to come back on Monday.
As Gorilla Monsoon. As Gorilla Monsoon.
We got to talk about the Giants, though.
Don't break your arm patting yourself on the back. We'll talk about the Giants, the 49ers. You'll hear from De'Aaron Fox and Tyrese Haliburton as well. As D'Lo and Casey continue here on this 49ers Monday, brought to you by Gilmore Heating, Air, and Plumbing. You get more with Gilmore on Sacramento's #1 sports station, ESPN 1320.
Oh, shizzo. I'll be back.
Always have yours ready. I'll never get mine ready. Where we at? House show. I got some good stuff. Wait a minute. Boom. House show. That's Casey's feed. Boom. There we go. All right. A couple of quick things from the wrestling world. First off, shout out to AEW. Man, if this doesn't tell you something, AEW and the Owen Hart Foundation announced a new partnership on Monday that will include the creation of the Owen Hart Cup tournament that's going to take place on AEW television. Now, people have long thought that Martha Hart, Owen's widow, hated the business of professional wrestling. Well, it turns out she doesn't. She just hates the WWE. And there's a lot of great stuff in here that they're doing. They're creating a merchandise line for the, for Owen that they'll probably sell with, with AEW Shop Pro Wrestling Tees, that type of different thing. So it's great that Owen's name is going to be, back in the wrestling business. I thought this was a really cool announcement from AEW here this morning. If you haven't seen the dark side of the ring on Owen Hart, man, these dark sides of the ring are tough. I caught up on the plane ride from hell, which it was every bit as bad as the internet made it out to be. But if you've never seen the one on Owen with, Martha's a big part of it. Her son, her oldest son. As a matter of fact, both their kids are a big part of it. It's incredible. Like when you see that clip, the carabiner that they used to lower Owen that day, it's legit jaw dropping. If you're into those dark side of the rings and you haven't seen the one on Owen Hart, go check this out. Go check that out. But it should be a good week this week, especially with AEW show at Arthur Ashe Stadium on Wednesday. It'll be Bryan Danielson and Kenny Omega. So that should be a lot of fun. And shout out to WWE. It looks like they might be setting up New Day versus the Bloodline at Survivor Series. And that was pretty dope. They had Big E come out in gear that was designed in the vein of the Fuji Score album. And it took me a minute to catch on to what I was seeing. But when I figured it out, I popped for it. I thought that was pretty dope. So it looks like there's some good stuff ahead. Try to keep from WWE bashing all the time. Hey, what's up, Tim? Tim, I saw you tweet. That's a good tweet with the little stinger and the black bottles, man. That's good stuff.
Tim Morris in the house.
I've never watched Grill and JR. I've listened to Grill and JR, but I've never watched it. But I've listened to the podcast pretty regularly. Huh?
I was just saying, Leezy, what's up, man? Leezy be tapping in every now and then.
Yeah, that plane ride from hell episode was a bit. Yeah, it was every bit as bad as people said it was. Dude, Owen was so great. Owen was so great in that match.
That was awesome.
Mom, Owen the towel. He's my brother. So good. It's the 49ers Monday, brought to you by City Center Financial. Refinance today below 1.99% APR at 1866 Go City 6. As we roll along here, we'll dive back into the 49ers as the show continues. There's a lot more to talk about here, but you were patting yourself on the back before the commercial break. You said when we get back on Monday, I think the Giants are going to hold a one-game lead. I think there could be a loss or two on each side. We went in to the weekend, I think, with a one-game lead.
Yeah.
We're coming out of the weekend with a one-game lead. Was it last night? Were the Giants shut out last night? Was that the night before?
Yesterday afternoon. Both teams go 2-3.
Yeah.
In their respective series over the weekend. Friday night's Giants game. Oh my gosh. So I was out. I went to dinner or whatever. Oh, that reminds me.
Tell this story.
Well, we don't need the story. I'm just giving shout outs. You know what I mean? I'm just giving shout outs. Hey, shout out to my guy, Sean, over at Fixins. He says he loves the show, listens all the time, man. He showed me some love when I went over to Fixins the other day, man. Had me some good chicken and waffles, man. So big ups to my man, Sean, over there at Fixins, man. So we went out to eat on Friday. Was following along on the game or whatever, on the Giants game. And they were up 5-2 or something like that. And later something happened and I checked. They were in the 10th inning. I was like, oh man, like they blew the 5-2. I looked, 3 runs in the 9th. I'm like, oh man, that's terrible. Well, little did I know, to get to the 10th inning, they needed Donovan Solano with 2 outs and 2 strikes, down 1 to hit a bomb to send the game into extra innings. What a game. And then you got Kevin Gausman, the starting pitcher, the ace for the Giants, hitting a sacrifice fly to win the game on Friday night.
Dope.
What an ending. What a night on Friday night. I was riding high after seeing that. And then they went on Saturday, and that's good. And look, they're not going to sweep every team or whatever the case may be. So the Braves ended up avoiding the sweep and getting the game on Sunday. 2 things came out of this real quick. Number 1, Max Scherzer. This guy, jeez Louise, he is nasty. Another dominating performance on Saturday against the Reds. I don't know what you do with this guy come October.
That's the one I worry about for you.
Oh
man.
my God.
That's the one I worry about.
What does anybody do with this man right now? He is nasty out there for the Dodgers. So yeah, we just try to avoid him as much as possible. Then number 2, I was talking to my guy Elias as we were dropping the kids off for school this morning, out on the yard. We were talking. He's a big Dodgers fan, and he brought up a scenario that I forgot, and he's 100% right. And listen to this catastrophe that could very well happen. Say, for instance, the Giants and Dodgers finished the regular season tied for the NL West.
Okay.
They would have to play a 1-game playoff to decide who wins the NL West. Loser would then go to the wild card game.
That's dumb.
Very, right? We're not just talking about division
Giants won the series.
Maybe they do it. Maybe they do it that way. Maybe they do a tiebreaker that way. Traditionally, it would have to be the 1-game playoff. Maybe somebody can give me the thing on that. But the way they've always done it, maybe they changed the rules.
No, I think you're right. I said I think it's dumb though, like that you have these series and there's really no value in because we talked about that series like, yo, what was it? 10-9 doesn't sound right, but it was it
might have been 10-9 though.
Okay,
10-9
it was
10-8, something
like that.
Mm-hmm.
But ultimately, it doesn't mean anything.
In that particular situation,
y'all can't figure it out for 162 games. You can't find another way to have a tiebreaker. You're gonna have these dudes go out there and play
the two best teams in baseball gonna play a 1-game playoff to determine who wins the West. Loser then has to go probably the next day and play the NL wild card game. Matter of fact, you probably, depending on how bad you want the West or whatever the case may be, you would have blown through maybe your ace for that 1-game playoff to get in. Then in the wild card, it's a mess. It really is a mess. And it's super circumstantial because, it's really rare that you have the two best teams playing like this in the same division or whatever the case may be. So typically it all plays itself out. It just sucks that this is the year where you have one of these crazy scenarios.
Well, there's a dozen games left?
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe.
I think 12 games left. Giants are in San Diego. Oh, speaking of San Diego, did you see them on Saturday night?
I didn't see them on Saturday, no.
Oh, so you didn't see Machado and Tatis getting into it in the dugout?
No.
Oh, yeah. Machado, I don't know what the issue was, but he's cursing out Tatis, or yelling at him. I shouldn't go that far. Yelling at him. They're separating each other. People are separating them. And Tatis is like, man, you just don't get it. Don't get it. Machado's like, it's not about you. It's not about you. Like, yeah, it was intense. It was intense. They were not happy with each other. Followed up by Tatis the very next day in St. Louis, dropping a can of corn in the outfield, which allowed somebody to come home. I think two guys scored on that play.
That's one of my favorite baseball isms. The can of corn. The can of corn is one of my favorite baseball isms.
It's a good one when you hear where it came from. It makes sense.
I don't think I know this story.
Yeah, so I think the origins of it is in the grocery store. The can of corn would be at the top shelf, and they would get the broom and knock down the can of corn, and you would catch it. And that's where it's an easy catch. Oh, a can of corn. That's what this little pop-up is to the outfield.
Okay. I like it. That's solid. That's solid.
That's what I came from.
Can of corn right there. Okay, I'm with it. But Giants hold that 1-game lead over the Dodgers right now. A couple of other quick notes. Which 2-0 team surprises you the most?
It's a good question. It's probably the Panthers.
Raiders are 2-0. Broncos are 2-0. Panthers are 2-0.
It's the Panthers for me.
Cardinals. Sam Darnold. The resurrection of Sam Darnold. It turns out you get away from Adam Gase. Maybe you can play a little football.
Right.
You get away from the New York Jets. Perhaps you could do something out there.
We may be talking about the 3-0 Panthers as they got the Texans on Thursday.
Yeah, the Texans. Browns beat the Texans. It wasn't particularly impressive.
Texans had some moments in that game. Browns look like they might try and snatch it. Baker got hurt, came back.
Looked like Baker. That looked like Baker was done.
I didn't see the injury. What was it? Was it a leg or?
No, it was his shoulder. He said, I think I read this morning, he said his shoulder popped out and then went back in. He got hit in like a really awful angle. And he got up and I was like, that's it. That's it. That's done. And he said it, and this happens with shoulders, that it, as horrible as it is to say, it popped out, went back in, and he was back out there. He tried to make a tackle on it. It's probably a play. I guess in hindsight, oh, this toughness. He's out there trying to make a play. Yeah, probably should have let that one go.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's where he hurt the shoulder on that play.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, he wound up finishing 19 of 21. Big time performances from Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt. I think that's where some big money is for the Cleveland Browns. But they do get the 31-21 win over the Houston Texans. So the Browns are on the board, and that's a competitive AFC North right now with I think all 4 teams, because I think Cincinnati's 1-1 too, aren't they?
Yeah, they beat the Vikings to start the season.
There you have it. But the answer, I think, is the Panthers, because I don't want to say there was buzz about the Broncos. There wasn't buzz, but there was talk about the Broncos.
I gave him a little buzz.
Yeah, there were people talking about the Broncos.
Wow.
Raiders, this shouldn't be surprising at all. Cardinals, same thing. This is nothing surprising. But the Panthers and Sam Darnold kind of bringing things back to life there. They're definitely the most. Any of those teams going to make the postseason? Raiders, Broncos, Panthers, Cardinals.
Raiders, Panthers. I think I'm not ready to put the Raiders in the playoffs just yet.
Okay.
It's going to be the Raiders or the Broncos.
Okay. Adam Schefter tweeted, Kyle Shanahan is speaking to the media right now. JaMychal Hasty suffered a high ankle sprain Sunday. And in the words of Kyle Shanahan, for sure is out Sunday night versus Green Bay. Just tuning in, Lamar Miller, Duke Johnson, TJ Yeldon, all having visits with the San Francisco 49ers today. So injuries, always a part of the conversation on Mondays. You're listening to D'Lo and Casey on ESPN 1320 KIFM, West Sacramento, KRXQ, HD2 Sacramento, an Odyssey station, and driven by Lashers, Elk Grove Dodge. It's a 49er Monday for sure, but we'll shift gears here for a few minutes, KC.
I know it's a 49er Monday, and you know that's always brought to you by City Center Financial. Refinance today below 1.99% APR at GoCityCenter.com.
But we'll shift gears here for a minute and go to our Sacramento Kings. Tyrese Haliburton and De'Aaron Fox both spoke to the media today. And by the way, from the looks of social media, not only are Tyrese Haliburton and De'Aaron Fox in town, Buddy Hield is here. Training camp, by the way, gets underway 1 week from today.
Yeah.
Buddy Hield is here. Wait, is it 1 week from today? Might be 1 week from tomorrow. Media Day might be 1 week from today because I think it's the 28th. Marvin, Buddy, De'Aaron, Tyrese, all those guys are here.
I'm listening to D-Lo and KC.
I've heard that.
Watching it on YouTube and on Twitch. They say, you know what? Damn it, Kenny's right. Gotta get there. Now, they probably were going to come here anyway at this time, but you know, Marvin was here. I think Marvin was here maybe like the day after we had that talk. That might have been like we talked to Deuce and Mo. That was on a Thursday. He might have been there either that Thursday or Friday. He's been here for a couple of days.
I got to get to Sacramento. I heard the show. We know they listen. they decided, hey, we've got to get out there. Shout out to Tyrese who went to what game did he go to? It wasn't the Quarry Bowl. I think. Which one was it?
Folsom at Oak Ridge, or Oak Ridge and Folsom, I think it was.
Okay, yeah, he was out. He was out in the streets with Sean Cunningham, watching some Friday night football, and he got a workout in and spoke to the media today, and was talking about if there's a burden or added pressure on putting an end to this 15-year playoff drought. That's not it. Oh, this is worth listening to, but this ain't it. This is not Tyrese. Nope, he missed it.
He missed it right. He missed it right.
He missed it just like I did with the button right there. That was definitely not Tyrese Haliburton.
That's a classic. At some point today, can you guys get me the Vikings in the NFC Championship game, the Favre interception? I need that.
Jesse, get to work on that. Here is Tyrese Haliburton talking about the pressure of putting an end to the 15-year drought.
I mean, if I'm being like completely brutally honest, like I don't think anybody or any statistic, any record can put more pressure on myself than what I put on myself, if that makes sense. You know, I have like a standard that, you know, I want to uphold in my athletic ability. I want to win. You know, that's been my thing is, you know, I want to be a winning basketball player. And I think everybody agrees with that. They want to win as well. I think the pressure is more so from ourselves because the accountability that we have within each other that we want to be, successful. I don't think it's anything of tying the longest record or anything like that. I didn't even know that until you just said that. Obviously, we want to allow our fans to make the playoffs. We want to bring the Kings back to the playoffs. It's obviously the biggest goal, but I don't think anybody wants that more than us. We're the ones out there playing so hard and working every day to do that. And obviously we'd love to do that for the city of Sacramento and for the fans, but I do know that guys are holding themselves accountable to where that's what we want to do. We want to change it, and that's what I've said from the day that I got drafted here, is that I wanted to get his team to the playoffs and help change the culture, and that's what we're working to do every day.
You know how I took that? Like, no matter how invested you guys are in this, we really aren't trying to go out there and lose. Like, we're trying to win every time we step out on there on the floor. I just think Tyrese.
I absolutely love that, and I love it because I lived it. I used to tell people all the time when you talk about pressure and all this stuff. I didn't play in the NBA or anything like that, but when they were like, all the pressure that's on these guys, and it's like, I don't understand that, because the standards that I hold myself to as a player, they're far bigger than what you think that I should do. If I'm playing a game and I got 25 and I went for, I was 7 of 12 from the field, they'd be like, yo, he was balling, he had 25. Me, I'm like 7 of 12. I said there was definitely 2 that I should have had. I could have had a 30-point game with, like, that's the mentality. And that's what I heard when Tyrese speak. You guys, D-Lo and KC, the fans, we know you guys want to make the playoffs, and you want that. But the level of expectations I have for myself as a player, if I'm Tyrese, that we have collectively as a group, that's above what you guys are expecting for us. I love that. I love it. Absolutely.
Tyrese also talked about the differences from last season to this season.
I would just say last year was a lot of uncertainty. I was kind of just like thrown into everything. You know what I'm saying? I got to Sacramento, had a couple negative COVID tests. Next thing I know, I'm doing one-on-one workouts with Rico. It's a lot more structured now. To whereas I know what to expect on a daily basis. I'm here with my teammates, guys that I know, and I'm able to interact with those guys and just keep building relationships. Obviously, with Davion here, but and Nimi being rookies, but as well as new guys that are coming in. Being in LA with Tristan and Langen here, and just new guys coming in that I'm able to create relationships with. So I'd say that's the biggest part, is I have that ability to do so before we're flying on planes and going to a preseason game already. You know what I'm saying? I'm able to build that relationship right away. So I would say that's probably the biggest difference for me.
A Tristan Thompson reference from Tyrese. Often forget that Tristan Thompson is a member of the Sacramento Kings. But a nice little reference from there. Tyrese is one of the guys working out. He was also asked about adding some defensive stuff to their workouts this offseason.
I think just sprinkling in things defensively throughout workouts, like taking, the end of my workouts or the start of my workouts or during my workouts to do little things defensively, whether that's rotations or, just guarding the ball one-on-one, implementing little things like that, I think has helped me a lot. I think it's helping our team a lot as well as we get, as more guys start coming in, we got more guys here, to where we're able to do some stuff. It's little things that, every day to build habits. And then as we go into training camp and have, everybody here, those little things that we've been doing and working on are just going to, flow right into each other. So just doing little things, during our workouts, I think has helped us. And obviously, when you get in the gym, you're working on your game, working on, mainly the offensive side of the basketball, but them being, our staff has done a great job of, helping us implement things defensively, that's going to pay dividends moving forward.
Lots of good keywords there. Defensively, adding this, working on that's fans. Oh, I know, like, I'm looking at the chat right now. I know everyone's excited for the Kings season. And
yes.
This is when our optimism is the highest, right before training camp starts. It was like this last year, the year before. Like it's always like this. Like there's some level of optimism with the Sacramento Kings, even if the optimism is, well, they just can't be that bad. They're not going to be as bad as they were last year. Not only did Tyrese Haliburton speak to the media, so did De'Aaron Fox.
Swiper.
And he talked about on what Luke has talked to them about working on.
Especially, with drafting Davion. I mean, we've talked about playing 3 guards, and at the end of the day, kind of what you give up is, size. So that comes from like rebounding defense. But for us, I mean, we have to be able to buckle down and do that. If we can't, then obviously us 3 won't be able to play together, and coach is gonna have to figure something else out. But for us, I mean, we all want to play together. At the end of the day, we want to play together. We know we can do it. Like OKC 2 years ago, where they had 3 guard lineups, and I mean, offensively, it definitely helps having multiple guys who can, get into a pick and roll, can shoot the ball, who can get into their own offense. But for us, we know that defensively with the 3 guards, that's going to be where we have to hang our hat on. And, if we're able to get stops and rebound, then, we should be fine. Offensively, we won't have to really, worry about that.
That seems like a sneaky, significant soundbite. Sneaky and significant in the fact that he was talking about Luke Walton and what Luke Walton has told his team to work on in the offseason. I think there's some significance to that. We've questioned the 3 guard lineup. Now, he certainly didn't say, oh, we're starting a 3 guard lineup, or this is our plan, or we're going to play a 3 guard lineup 90% of the time. He didn't. There was nothing like that in there. But the conversation that you and I have had, the conversation we've had with guys like James Ham and Deuce and Mo and Matt George and Jason Jones and every Kings expert who's kind enough to join the show, we've all talked about that 3 guard lineup. Well, it turns out they're having those same conversations behind the scenes, so much so that Luke is telling those guys, hey, work on this. We could, this could be something that we're implementing this year.
Yeah, I think as much as I don't want to start the game with that or play with it too much, it will be a wrinkle, and it should be a wrinkle for what they're doing and basing it on different matchups. Now, when I say 3 guard lineup, I'm thinking Fox, Haliburton, and Davion.
Right.
Not Fox, Haliburton, and Buddy. So, I mean, but it could be interchangeable. Maybe you put Hield in there in certain situations or, whatever the case may be. But just based on their best players and the position that they play, yeah, they're gonna have to play some type of 3 guard lineup at some point in time throughout different games. So yeah, it should be an option. It should not be the rule. It should not be what you rely on, but it should definitely be an option.
Is that the most tantalizing story? Is that the most is that the most interesting story headed into training camp? Is if they start a 3 guard lineup, who's in the 3 guard lineup? Is Tyrese starting? Like some semblance of that story with involving whether Buddy is starting or Buddy's on the bench. Who's the 3 guard lineup? How does that all work? Like, is that the most interesting story heading into preseason or training camp, I should say?
Yeah, I think the most interesting story is, I always bring it back to this guy. I try not to, but what's going to go on with Marvin Bagley? Because that's where the hole is.
Be here starting at 4. Like I don't.
He should start. I do to answer the question. I do, but some people. But you want to put Tristan Thompson there? Like no. So I love the idea of De'Aaron, Tyrese, and Davion, or a stretch of De'Aaron, Buddy, and Davion. I love a combination of the 3 guards, but I'm also in line with you in that I think I would rather start Buddy, Tyrese, Harrison, Marvin, and Rashawn. And I assume that's your starting lineup because you don't like the idea of starting with the 3 guard lineup. That's my assumption, is that that's who you would start. It would be De'Aaron, Tyrese, Harrison, and Marvin and Rashawn. Yes.
Yeah, I'm not. I would actually be more surprised if they started with the 3 guard lineup than anything else.
Yeah, I agree.
I would be surprised also if they started with the lineup that I just laid out there, but Buddy's in place of Tyrese. I'd say this: it would really surprise me if Tyrese Haliburton wasn't a starting 2 guard. this year.
I'd be floored if it was Buddy instead of Tyrese.
De'Aaron also talked about the current roster.
For me as a player, obviously you go out there with what you have. Doesn't, if GM makes move, he makes movies. He doesn't, he doesn't. But like I said, I think last year, we had a chance, and there were just too many stretches and during the season that we kind of fell apart. So, me as a player, I know what we're capable of doing, and we just have to be able to do that for as long of a period of time as we can. And we can't let those slip-ups last for too long. Every team has slip-ups. Everybody loses, 2 or 3 games in a row. But we can't let that continue to stack on each other. And I think last year we let that happen too many times.
Yes, you sure did. And it wasn't 2 or 3. It was 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I think that's what people do not want to see. That's what Kings fans do not want to see. De'Aaron Fox also talked about defense and what adding a player like Davion Mitchell does for this team. You'll hear that when we return. Plus, KC, we got a present for you.
For me?
More Vikings radio calls.
Oh, let's go.
That's coming up here on this 49ers Monday, brought to you by Gilmore Heating, Air, and Plumbing. You get more with Gilmore. We'll talk about the positives and the negatives coming out of week number 1 as well. We kind of mentioned the Trey Sermon, week number 2, excuse me. We kind of mentioned the Trey Sermon play. We'll dive back into that as well, and you'll hear what De'Aaron Fox said. All coming up on Sacramento's #1 sports station, ESPN 1320. Man, not smooth going into break today. Yeah, Marcus, you're right. We don't have a better player to play at power forward. I think the idea was if Marvin doesn't start, that means we're starting small.
Wow. Ramsey, Marvin shouldn't start. Fox, Haliburton, Barnes, Holmes, either Lynn or Thompson at the 5. I don't know if I like Holmes at the 4.
I don't like that. Yeah, I do not like that. I don't think that's going to work. That's a very clogged up. Gets very clogged up around the basket and kind of take away some things that De'Aaron does well.
Wow.
Shout out to @Runamucker31 for that tweet that he sent. That made me laugh. That's legit funny.
What?
He sent the tweet. It says leaked footage of @IMK Diddy getting the rundown from Damian Barling every morning. And it's a picture of Jimmy Butler crumbling up the box score and throwing it in the air. Okay, wait a second. Did that really happen? Because if it is, I'm going to need you to go through the entire Sac State game, because I may or may not have made a point to make sure that was put in there into the broadcast. And if it is, best believe you already know I'm Petty Pendergrass. Turn off the lights. Damn, David. Boo this man. Boo! Oh, man. Boo.
Oh, man. That would have been lit.
Because the real talk is, I asked for that to be in there.
Oh, man.
That's right. Yeah, you kind of ruined the day. You kind of ruined the day with that.
David Jackson.
Damn it. We don't know that it didn't happen, though. He'd have to.
We're going to need somebody to be listening to that and keep sound going at all times.
I need to. I'm going to. That's right. I just got Kenny'd. Damn it. DJ is a non-reliable source. He's Adrian Wojnarowski. with the little cloud next to it instead of the check mark.
Got him.
That's a good. I mean, it might be in there. He might have. Again, I asked for it. I was like, hey,
we need that.
We're showing all this love for Sac State. Maybe Sac State gives a little love for D-Lo and KC.
We need that. I'm going to need that.
I don't think that's. I got Kenny'd in the chat. I fell for a text. They got me.
It happened. Then last week you were saying like, well, it hasn't happened to me.
Well, this doesn't count. I didn't fall for it. Like David just lied to me. He told me something was said during the Sac State broadcast, and right now it's unverifiable. But he said it definitively as if he heard it, and now he's turned our world upside down. I want you to hear what De'Aaron Fox had to say, but he talked about Davion Mitchell, and I know people are excited about that. But a lot of people have had a good laugh, including us, at Paul Allen's call, the Minnesota Vikings radio network.
High snap, put down. Joseph, come on! It is gone! No, he missed it. Are you kidding me? He missed it right.
He missed it right.
Oh, my kidding me?
Oh my!
And Kenny has been begging for the call of the Brett Favre interception from many years ago. Vikings Radio Network.
Brett Favre goes back to pass. He pumps. Now he fires over the middle. Intercepted. I can't believe what I'm seeing right now. It was intercepted by Tracy Porter near side to the 40, and John Sullivan runs him down at the 47-yard line. You've got to be kidding me. I can't believe what I just saw.
Looking at that play, he should have just held on to a call. He should have. He could have easily gotten 5 or 6 yards if he would have just pulled that thing down and dove forward.
But why do you even ponder passing? I mean, you can take a knee and try a 56-yard field goal. This is not Detroit, man. This is the Super Bowl.
Wait a second.
The escalation in his voice where he goes, but you could just take a knee.
Did I miss the Vikings in the Super Bowl? By the way, did I miss that? I love that. How many NFC championships did Brett Favre end by throwing an interception?
Oh, there's 2. Well, technically he didn't end the Saints one, but we'll just say it is. There's 2 off the top of my head.
The one with the Giants.
Yeah.
Where Coughlin's face froze off, right? That was the, and then. Well, this is worth one more.
He pumps. Now he fires over the middle. Intercepted. I can't believe what I'm seeing right now. It was intercepted by Tracy Porter near side to the 40, and John Sullivan runs him down at the 47-yard line. You've got to be kidding me. I can't believe what I just saw.
Looking at that play, he should have just held on to a call. He should have. He could have easily gotten 5 or 6 yards if he would have just pulled that thing down and dove forward.
But why do you even ponder passing? I mean, you can take a knee and try a 56-yard field goal. This is not Detroit, man. This is the Super Bowl.
Oh, it's funnier the second time. Oh, man.
Why do you even ponder passing?
He is fired up. See,
you can take a knee and try a 56, like it's 25 yards.
The
try a
things
56-yard field goal
that people loved about Brett Favre are also the things that people hate about Brett Favre. That's funny, man. Oh, that
was a good one. Those two right there. Those are some good ones right there.
That's some solid stuff there from the Vikings Radio Network. And here's some solid stuff from De'Aaron Fox. I know a lot of people were anxious to hear what he had to say. He was talking about defense and adding a player like Davion Mitchell and what that does for the team.
It's great. I mean, it's great for us as a team. Knowing that, that's where we were lacking last year as a team. And I mean, ultimately, that's what we really needed to improve. Everything offensively can stay, where it's at, but obviously you want to continue to get better on that end too. But defensively is where we have to, really get better as a team. And seeing what he did in college as a guard, I mean, that's tough. Like that's a really tough thing to do. And obviously going up against him, it's definitely I mean, it's going to be great for everybody, for me, Ty, Buddy, everybody who has to, be guarded by him in practice. And then for me, I mean, I'm guarded by the best defender every night. So it is what it is for me. I'm always, every time we step on the court at this point now, I'm getting guarded by the best defender, rather if it's a guard or a wing or whatever it is. So for me, obviously, it'll continue to help my game. But I think for us as a whole and as a team, it'll definitely bring us up defensively.
De'Aaron Fox there speaking today about Davion Mitchell for the first time, or at least the first time that I'm aware of.
Man, I think I'm really anxious to see these guys together. Fox, Haliburton, Davion. That's the future right there. That's the future.
De'Aaron, Mr. Man of the People, in tune with the Kings fan base, because he a couple of times today mentioned things that we've all talked a lot about, but in that particular clip, he spoke about the practices and being guarded by Davion every day in practice and how much that's going to help him get better. That was a conversation that we had with everyone who came on the show following the drafting of Davion Mitchell, and it's 2 degrees of separation to De'Aaron Fox. Every player that comes in, whether it's through draft or free agency, how are they going to help De'Aaron? What are they going to do to make De'Aaron better? And Davion was the one, like right after the draft, that's simple. He's going to have to guard De'Aaron Fox every day at practice, and perhaps more specifically to this conversation, De'Aaron's going to have to deal with Davion Mitchell every day at practice, and that's only going to make Davion better.
Yeah, absolutely. And for all of you in the chat, yes, we know. We too wonder what Davion guarding Buddy in practice would look like. We're going to leave Buddy out of this. We're going to leave Buddy out of this.
Oh, man. There will inevitably be a report. Sean Cunningham's going to tweet from practice. Yeah, Buddy hasn't been able to get a shot off today. Like, Buddy's literally like 0 for 2 hours. He got one shot off, and it was from the logo.
That man was in a straight jacket.
Yeah, those will be out there, man. Jason Jones, first column at The Athletic. Why Buddy has shot twice in practice all week? He just can't get free. He can't get going. That's the thing about Buddy, though. Like, he gonna try. Like, he's gonna try. He's gonna move. He'll run. He's gonna be all over the place.
Yeah. What we got?
We're a week away. No, we've Ben Simmons talks have started again, not with the Kings, but just Ben Simmons conversations in general. Yay, this is great.
What's new?
We got Ben Simmons and Tyrese Maxey for John Wall. That's a proposal out there because it works cap wise. And so who wouldn't do it? I didn't know where
who wouldn't do it.
Philly.
Okay.
If you were Philly, would you do it?
No, I wouldn't do it because you put Maxey in there. I think about it for Simmons, but I probably would say no still because John Wall just can't play enough.
You would trade Simmons for Wall straight up?
I think about it, but ultimately I'd probably say no just because of Wall's health.
I guess it boils down to, do you really think Ben Simmons isn't showing up next week?
Oh, I believe him. I don't think he's showing up.
Yeah, I kind of believe him too.
Well,
but I guess Ben Simmons' season is back into full effect. At some point, Vegas is going to have the Kings as the favorite as well because they just keep waiting for them to do something stupid. Bryce says, breaking news from James Ham. Buddy Hield, after being guarded by Davion in practice, was requested a trade. That's good. Well, Buddy did think he was traded earlier this year.
Earlier Buddy thought he was out of here,
I should say. But we're a week away from the start of training camp, so it's definitely an exciting time for Kings fans. We'll talk more about the Kings. We'll even build the show a little bit around what Fox said today, what Tyrese said today. We'll be on the lookout from our friends at the Sacramento Kings, see if anybody else is set to speak tomorrow As of right now, there's nothing scheduled, but if we get alerted to anything, of course, we will stay on top of that. It's a 49ers Monday brought to you by City Center Financial. Refinance today below 1.99% APR at 1866 GO City 6. KC, a win is a win. We've talked in depthly about that and how 49er fans don't need to be unhappy or feel bad about a victory in the NFL. They got one, or as I should say, a victory in the National Football League. But it's okay to have concerns about your squad. The biggest concern coming out of this week 2 win for the San Francisco 49ers is what?
For me personally, is I don't like the way the offense looked yesterday. I thought it was too conservative by Kyle Shanahan. And I don't think whether it's him or Jimmy not finding, whatever the case may be, I just don't like the way the offense, they're too reliant on the run game, They're going to have to pass a little bit if they want to get to ultimately where they want to get to, which is a Super Bowl. You're going to have to put the ball in the air a little bit, and you're going to have to, especially with your best running backs being out. I know we talk all the time about Kyle Shanahan, Bobby Turner being able to take any running back and turn them into a good one, and that's partly true. But Raheem Mostert was RB1 for a reason, you know what I mean? And you don't have him, so without having him there, I think it'd be a little arrogant, a little non-realistic to just think that you can just take anybody and have the same production you were expecting to have Raheem Mostert. You can still have good,
but I think that's absolutely how Kyle feels. I think that's how he feels about that running back position, period. I mean, Kyle Matson said something similar. He said something along the lines is Kyle's always going to believe he could put together a group of running backs who are going to go out there and be productive or as productive as a $15 million running back. So with Raheem Mostert out, who isn't even a $15 million running back, I absolutely thinks he can put Elijah Mitchell or Lamar Miller or Duke Johnson or any combination of those guys into the backfield and get the same production.
Yeah,
it might be arrogant and it might be short-sighted, but I do think that's what he believes. And I think that's how he approaches that running back room.
I agree. He's not necessarily always wrong because history has shown that he's been able to find guys that can get it done. I just think he needs to not be as dependent on that. He needs to look to get his playmakers involved in the air a little bit more than what he's done.
Now, this is deceitful, but I do want to be fair. They did run the ball 37 times yesterday.
I think
38 times.
Yeah.
You want more than now. I said it's deceitful because 11 of those belonged to Jimmy Garoppolo, and not all of those were designed runs.
Yeah, you could make the argument that probably 6 or 7 of those were passes that Jimmy had to run for.
Doesn't the kneel count as a run?
Yes.
He had 3 of those too.
Yeah.
So, what do you want to see them more in the range of? Again, taking away probably just conservatively 7 or 8 of those because you got 3 kneel downs at the end.
Right.
Add 3 scrambles to it. We'll say 6. That now brings you down into the low 30s. Do you want to see them more in the 40s in terms of possessions snaps they run the ball?
Well, I want to see more passes. Jimmy had 30 pass attempts, and we talk about some of those were rushing attempts that play breaks down and he takes off. So that probably happened about 3 times. So now you're looking at 33 passing attempts, maybe 35 or something like that. That's probably more so where I would like for them to be in games like yesterday. Yesterday, I want to see, hey, 30, get that ball up in the air a little bit. They're stuffed in the run. There's not a whole lot of holes there. Get that ball in the air a little bit. Get your ball to your playmakers, your George Kittles, Deebo Samuels. Get Sherfield involved. Get Brandon Ayuk involved. Just a little bit. It's a minor thing. It's a minor thing. Like I said, it's probably about 5 more plays in the air as opposed to the run. So that's kind of what I'm looking for. But when you get in the air, it's more so if I want to see your playmakers with the rock. So I want to see you get the ball to George Kittle more often.
So not only do you want him, it's not just dropping back to pass, it's targeting the guys who are most effective for you.
There should be a Kittle package where these are the 10 to 15 plays we know we can get George open, or we have a really good idea that we can get him open, and go to that well. Go to the Kittle package.
What does this tell you? He threw the ball. By the way, we should mention the Sherfield versus Ayuk thing was much ado about nothing this week. As Sherfield caught one pass for 9 yards, Brandon Ayuk caught one important pass for 6 yards.
Down, man.
What's it say to you that Jimmy Garoppolo targeted Jermichael Hasty more than George Kittle? With no context, what would that tell you?
With no context, like I didn't watch the game?
Well, if you were just looking at the box score and you saw Jermichael Hasty got 5 targets and George Kittle got 4.
I'd probably say they were trailing and just dumping down to get back, kind of like how the Lions did in week 1. That would be my first thought.
Anytime I see a running back, and George Kittle is you could call him a tight end, wide receiver hybrid, but whatever you want to. But I feel like anytime you see running backs getting a ton of catches, those are, and we went over this, we gave you the stat, the 3.8 yards in the air from Jimmy Garoppolo. He had to get rid of the ball quickly. And there's probably multiple ways that you could look at that as well. Jimmy Garoppolo getting rid of the ball quickly. He doesn't want it, I don't want to say no one wants to get hit, but he's afraid to get hit.
Right.
He doesn't want to get hurt. There's that. And that's certainly, reading a bit too deep into the psychological portion of football. The more realistic answer, at least for me, is the front seven was bothering him and the pocket was collapsing on him. And that's with context. That's with watching the game. He had to dump the ball off, and maybe he did want to find George Kittle. Maybe George Kittle was the target. He didn't have time to get to him. And he saw Jermichael Hasty there and thought, that's my dump off, because it's four receptions for 21 yards.
Right.
Those are short passes.
Right. Yeah. Nothing was down the field.
Nothing.
So now watching the game, it all kind of made sense with the fact that they were running the screen game a lot. You know what I mean? And they were trying to use the aggressiveness of the Eagles defensive line against them, and thinking that maybe they were a little undisciplined and they would rush the passer without even, thinking about the idea of the screen game. Eagles played the screen pretty well because they had them set up a couple times, but they were able to swarm to the ball and get it done earlier in the game, which might have been a tone setter. The 49ers missed a couple screens. So I don't know, it was the throw or the catch. I feel like it's more so the catch. Deebo Samuels and Kyle Juszczyk had screens set up that they didn't convert on. So, I think some of that was part of the game plan as far as using the aggressiveness against them. And that's why Jermichael Hasty's had more, you said more targets than George?
One more. Yeah. It was 5-4.
Okay. Yeah. That's kind of what I attribute that to.
He did hit on all 4 for whatever it's worth. And I don't think it's worth nothing, but he targeted Kittle 4 times. He hit Kittle 4 times. But again, as was the tone of the game, those were short passes. Like, some of these passes are almost runs. They're so short, and it requires, whether it's Kittle or Hasty or Deebo to do all the work. And thankfully we did see Deebo do some work. But when you talk about concerns, you're headed into a game, and we'll see what tonight looks like. There still is a game to be played. It's the Lions and the Packers on Monday Night Football, and we saw what the Lions defense gave up to the San Francisco 49ers last week. Everybody is expecting the Green Bay Packers to, kind of pick themselves up, dust themselves off, and get back to working after that blowout win in week number 1. Believing that happens, right? Believing that the Green Bay Packers offense gets moving like we believe that they can, and Aaron Rodgers resumes something closer to the form that we saw last year. Maybe not necessarily, the MVP, but we see him take that top caliber form back. the 49ers having holes in their running game is going to be a problem next week, like a much bigger problem than it was against the Philadelphia Eagles. Because, and I know you've talked about this before, one of the great ways to neutralize Aaron Rodgers is to keep him off the field. Mm-hmm. I know that's a hot take. You can insert Patrick Mahomes' name in there. You can, if they're not on the field, they can't hurt you.
Yes.
One of the great ways to have those 13, 14, 15 play drives is to have an effective run game. Kill the clock. I mean, it's important that you pay it off at the end, and you, especially when you're going, double-digit plays, you want to pay it off with 6. Mm-hmm. But if they can't patch some things up over the course of the next 6 days leading into that primetime home opener that we'll get you ready for with E40 Niner Friday. Yeah. I just thought of that on the spot, huh? Can I get a E40 Niner Friday when E40 joins us at 3:20? If they can't patch some things up between now and Sunday night, man, you can't start against the Packers the way you started against the Eagles. And I believe in the 49ers defense. I absolutely believe in the 49ers defense, but I think you said earlier it was 3 3-and-outs in a row, mm-hmm. and then the punt on the 4th possession. Mm-hmm. Man, you can't.
I don't think
you're eliminating a whole first quarter at that point.
You're right. I don't think that happens against Green Bay. I don't think Green Bay is as good defensively. I think the Niners will be home. They're not dealing with a hostile environment, and I expect a much better offensive performance against the Green Bay Packers. All around, running the ball, passing the ball, getting it to your playmakers. I expect a much better performance. Will that result in a win? I sure hope so. I don't know, though. But I think the offense will look a lot better against Green Bay.
Okay. I don't want to skew too negative. The 49ers won yesterday. They're 2-0. Mm-hmm. 49er fans should be happy. Raider fans should be happy. Hell, Cardinals fans should be happy. Hell, if Josue, you out there, Cowboy fans, y'all should be happy. Like if you won a game yesterday, you should be happy. So I don't want to skew too negative when talking about the San Francisco 49ers in the game yesterday. What I actually really like about the game, what's a positive takeaway for me is that it was so different than week 1. I think it's important to be able to win in different fashions. Shoot, we were talking about the Kings earlier. There was a stretch where it felt like, okay, so a stretch as in like 3 seasons where it feels like the Kings can't win a game if they don't score 130. Mm-hmm. There was a stretch of ball late in the year where they were getting some grimy wins like that, brought that worst defense in history kind of out of the picture. Like it was the sinkhole, right? It was just a singular stretch of basketball that improved that statistic. But for the most part, if the Kings weren't able to score 120, 130 points a game over the last couple of seasons, they can't win that game. And so when we saw them having these grimy, fight-it-out wins at the end of the year, it was like, oh, okay, that's different. I like this. This is a good look. That's how I feel about the 49ers yesterday. We've seen 2 completely different types of games. We saw one where they put up 41 points and, had the game firmly in hand for 57 minutes. And then we saw a game where they had to slug it out, grind it out. Every possession was super valuable. Every point that they got, was the difference between winning and losing. Like they were totally different types of games. And I think from a fan's perspective, you could look at that and go, again, I guess it's your perception of the Eagles. I don't think the Eagles are trash. I don't think the Eagles are even remotely close to the team that we saw in Philadelphia last year. Mm-hmm. I think they're a much better football team with a better quarterback and all their guys healthy. They had a massive amount of guys on IR, including like their whole damn defensive starters. I think they're a solid squad. I think this is a solid win, and I like that the 49ers have won 2 very different types of football games to start the season.
And I'm going to also say this. I'm not saying that you're doing it. I'm just talking in general because I know those people who are out there. We're not going to do this today. We're not going to talk about how, the Eagles aren't that good. And the Eagles, whatever you want to say about them. Because about 3 or 4 days ago, it was a trendy pick to say, The Eagles looked really good in week 1. They're going home to the link. It's going to be fired up. The Niners have secondary issues. How are they going to guard Devontae Smith? How are they going to do the RPOs with Jalen Hurts? It was really trendy. The only people that thought that the 49ers were going to win was myself, Damian, and Bart Scott. That was it.
Bart Scott's eyebrows are safe.
So they didn't beat a Super Bowl contender yesterday. No. But that was a tough match. Yes, that was a tough situation to go in. Because number one, you also deal with, even if the Eagles aren't very good, much like I talked about when they played the Detroit Lions, the Eagles don't know that they're not good yet. They beat the hell out of a Falcons team 32-6. They're feeling good about it themselves. I told you I was listening to the streets in Philadelphia, and they were encouraged by their 1-0 start. The guys that came on here from Philadelphia all said, yeah, I think the Niners or the Eagles are going to beat the 49ers by about a touchdown. It's going to be rocking at the link. So the Niners went in there in a game that a lot of people were doubting them, not everybody, but a lot of people were doubting them. Circumstantially, I don't think anybody was saying the Niners were a bad team, but they're like, they just lost their starting cornerback, all this other stuff. Didn't think they had a chance to win. The defense showed up, played huge, made huge plays, and the offense did what they had to do to make sure they win. They got a couple of drives in there, and then they made sure they had another drive that got points on the board with a field goal, and they were able to put it away after the Eagles had to use all their timeouts at the end of the game. Did what they had to do.
That's big too. That I don't think should be, snoozed at. Like, they put the game away at the 2-minute warning.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they came back from the 2-minute warning and were taking knees. Like, the game was over. Like, they iced it. Like, they made plays when they had to. That's what you want your football team to do.
Yeah.
And I think you make a great point there. They don't know they're not a good team yet, or they don't know that they are a good team yet. Like, we're 2 weeks into the season. We just posed the question, which one of these 2-0 teams is most likely to go to the playoffs? Think about that ridiculous sentence. There's 15 more games these teams have to play. Hell, Raider fans, like, I love what I've seen from the Raiders. I know what I saw from them last year, and I know what I saw from them the year before. I believe in what they're doing right now, but you're not going to get me to fall for the okie doke. Hell, you can say the same thing about the Cardinals. We saw the Cardinals last year. Oh, Kyler Murray. Cliff Kingsbury. Oh, they're the apple of everybody's eye. What happened? They fell apart late a little bit. They finished 8-8, missed the playoffs. Same thing that happened to the Raiders. Like, that stuff happens. We're reacting in the moment. They got the win against the Eagles. They got the win against the Lions. All right, next up, let's get back home. It's the Green Bay Packers on Sunday Night Football.
Yeah, and the 49ers winning that game and winning the Detroit game, that, to me at least, that doesn't mean that they're not out there playing like some kind of finished product. I think the 49ers, if things are going the way they're supposed to be, they should be a much better team in November than they are right now in September. And I would think, if you're paying attention, that's how you would want most of your teams to go, right? You don't want them to peak in September. Mm-hmm. You don't want them to, they dominated in the first 2-3 weeks of the season, and now they're just leaking oil trying to get to the playoffs. You don't want that. You want the team to play well. Obviously, there's things you want to see better, but you also want them to improve over the season. You want them to get more comfortable on the offensive end and on the defensive end. And when you talk about that 49ers defense, another thing that I maybe forgot about or didn't take into account is this is a veteran defense. And when you talk about losing Robert Saleh did a really good job with the 49ers. D'Amico Ryans comes in, has some good moments in the first 2 weeks of the season. But more than anything, what do we talk about with the Sacramento Kings? There's a level of continuity with the 49ers defense. Mm-hmm. Jimmy Ward's been here a long time. Tart's been here a long time. Fred Warner's been here a long time. The guys on the defensive line have been here for at least a few years. And they know not only what the other guys on that defense like to do, but they also know what they're supposed to do, right? They're familiar with it. The biggest thing with that defense at this point is how they're going to defend a team from week to week, not learning a new system or trying to get a feel for what the other guy on the defense is doing. They know each other. They know what the rules are for their defense. All they got to do is go out there and execute and make sure they communicate. And I think that's going to take this defense a long way too. Once again, feel like I got to say it. Doesn't mean they're not going to have bad nights. They're going to have bad nights and bad days where they just can't get a stop when they need it, or, this quarterback is going off or whatever the case may be. It's the NFL, that happens.
That's why you take every win.
Yes.
That's why you really can't work yourself up into being frustrated because the team didn't win the way you wanted them to yesterday.
Look, on top of that, Damian, there's going to be games where the Niners play really well and lose.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, they're going to have games where it's like, they did this good. I'm sure you can nitpick one or two plays, but as a whole, they played really well, and they're going to lose those games. You know what I mean? And you've got to take that with the times where they won ugly. Take it all. I remember in 2011, the first year Harbaugh was there. I think it was the second week of the season. I think it was. But they won a game in Cincinnati 13-9. You know what I mean?
Sexy.
13-9 in Cincinnati. And that ended up being a 13-3 season. So then my point being is them winning that week 2 game or whatever, week 3 or whatever game, 13-9, was not indicative of the season that they were going to have. They found a way to win that game in Cincinnati, and it led to bigger and better things. Is that what's going to happen for this 49ers team? I sure the hell hope so. I don't know if it will, but I hope so. I am confident that they are going to be playing better football as the season goes along.
Man, I'm looking back at the 2019 season. They beat the Washington football team 9-0.
Yeah.
I mean, they. You know what? I might have. I guess I just don't remember this. What's amazing about that run, that 2019 run by the 40, their bye was in week 4.
Mm-hmm. It was right after the Steelers game, right before the Saints game.
Right, close. Right before this, right after the Steelers, right before the Browns. The Rams was the following week.
Gotcha.
The Rams was the following week.
You know I like that one.
Also, it was 31-3. Also, one thing that's really standing out, and maybe this is in the back of 49ers' minds, 31-17, 41-17, 24-20 against the Steelers, 31-3, 20-7, 9-0, 51-13. Man, they were handing it to a couple of teams to start the season. It got a little bit closer, 28-5, 27-24 loss to Seattle.
That Bucks game to start the season, they were down, I think, at the half. They struggled. Jimmy threw a pick 6 in that game. They struggled, and a lot of the narrative there was, well, they ended up playing Jameis, who threw 2 interceptions in that game. And they're like, well, if it wasn't for those 2 interceptions, they probably would have lost. Well, if it wasn't for this and that, it's whatever, man. They won. That game in 2011, it was week 3 at Cincinnati, 13-8 was
They were down 7-6
against Tampa Bay. Yeah,
they were down 7-6 at halftime, and then
they were down
7-6, and then they came out and
took care of business after the ball that day too. And I think Fred Warner got a big interception in the red zone, like inside the 10 or something like that. The whole point of all this is football games go this way all the time, man. They went on the road. They got a tough victory in a tough environment. And I'm all for that, man. Give me the win. Let's get on the bus. Let's get on the plane. Let's go back to the Bay Area. You are starting the season and the home schedule on Sunday Night Football. Let's get it.
These stats don't match that score. Like, this is ugly.
The Tampa Bay game?
Yeah, Raheem Mostert had 40 yards. Matt Breida had 37. Jimmy Garoppolo, 166, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. There's one remember this is 2019 Tampa Bay Buccaneers. There's one defining stat that puts the 49ers where they are.
Turnovers.
And it's this little Jameis Winston stat over here in the corner.
Did he throw 2 or 3?
3.
Yeah. 2 of them were pick sixes.
He threw 3 interceptions.
One to Uncle Sherm and one to Kello Witherspoon. Jimmy had one really good throw against to Richie James Jr. for a touchdown coming out of the half. And that kind of gave him the lead. They never really gave it back. Matter of fact, I think Jameis threw an interception on the goal line on like 4th and goal. Or no, maybe that was just a stop by Tavarius Moore.
I don't know if the 49ers have it. You mentioned Uncle Sherm. I don't know if the 49ers have any interest in Richard Sherman, but if they do, they better act quickly.
Yeah, who was it? Buffalo was talking to, or Atlanta, or something like that?
You know, like Michael Jackson, you're not alone. The Bucks have reached out to Richard Sherman, and again, the Bucks are one of a handful of teams that have reached out to Richard Sherman. I think Kyle Shanahan said he has been in contact with Richard Sherman as well. I think that was dating back to last week, but it feels like the Bucks have emerged as a candidate to land Richard Sherman. I don't know what that means. Like right now, Richard Sherman. I mean, is there a big difference between Richard Sherman and Josh Norman right now?
I don't think so. The only thing that I would say is Richard Sherman's just he's probably and I don't mean this as a slight to Josh Norman. He's just probably a more smart. Yeah, he's a smarter player than Josh Norman as far as understanding what the quarterbacks like to do and being around the league and knowing guys that way. I would take his mind over Josh Norman right now. But like I mentioned earlier, Josh Norman played a good game last night.
Yeah.
I thought Josh Norman, you had the 2 PIs. The first one was a little sketchy. My man Jay Corp said both of them were sketchy. The second one I thought was a clear PI, but the first one was sketchy. Other than that, we didn't hear from Josh Norman. I was trying to find where his snap count was to see exactly how many snaps he played, but let's just say it was around 40, for the sake of argument. 40 snaps, you only hear from him twice. I'll take that. If he was able to stay around all year, stay healthy, and that's the game that he's given the 49ers all year, sign me up. Absolutely.
It'd be a good look to know the snap count, though, because I'd be good with that if he wasn't out there a lot. I don't know that he's going to be able to, again, 33, right? I don't think he's going to be able to.
Emmanuel Mosley.
I don't think he's a primary cornerback.
Emmanuel Mosley is going to be that starting cornerback along with Deion Lenore. Lenore is showing that he's pretty good. He's not perfect. Like I said, got beat on the 91-yard pass play. Didn't give up on it. Helped get him down inside the 10. Other than that, they tried Lenore a couple other times. He was ready to go. Even the one that was like supposed to be a touchdown and got called back, Lenore stopped because he had great position and knew he used the sideline as an extra defender. Did a great job.
56 snaps for Josh Norman.
56 snaps.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Twice. Yeah,
that's not bad at all. One more game to be played in week number 2 tonight. It's the Green Bay Packers.
I got a scout.
It's the Green Bay Packers, and yes, because you're going to be talking to Kyle.
Yeah, I was talking to him after the game, and we're burning burning the late night oil.
I believe it's the midnight oil.
Midnight oil. Yeah.
But you've been going to bed early, so I'm calling into question.
I was upset about that. I didn't mean to do that.
You're literally the only adult who gets mad when they fall asleep. I can't fall asleep fast enough, on the other hand. Packers favored by 11 tonight. That's the biggest spread of week number 2. We'll cover that tomorrow because it's the 49ers' next opponent. Remember, E40 is going to join us on Friday at 3:20. Make your plans to be with us there. We'll dive more back into what Tyrese Haliburton and De'Aaron Fox said today as part of our show tomorrow. So make sure that you are with us. We appreciate you joining us here on this 49ers Monday, brought to you by Gilmore Heating, Air, and Plumbing. You get more with Gilmore. Head over to Twitch or YouTube if you missed any part of the show, and we'll see you here tomorrow at noon on Sacramento's #1 sports station, ESPN 1320.
Holla. So riggedy rap.
That's all, folks.
So, guys, I can't hang around too much today. Reese got a dentist appointment. I gotta go.
Oh, let's go get them toothsisses. All right, we'll let you rock.
So
we'll be like Carl Lewis. We'll make up for it.
Uh-oh.
We might talk a lot of basketball tomorrow. I'm seeing these updates coming in from the Warriors. Klay Thompson has made good progress. Yeah. Michael Hasty. Yeah, there's going to be a lot to talk about tomorrow. All right, man. Go take care of Reese. Sorry we got to cut early. Again, we'll make up for it. Hit the thumbs up before you go. Yes, that is correct. It would be 40 Water Wednesday. I like that. That's solid. Instead, it's going to be E49er Friday. I don't know that he'll be pleased with that. We won't call it that to his face. We love y'all, man. Thank you as always. We'll see you. We'll see you tomorrow. And hit the thumbs up, for goodness sake.